The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The Kings of Week 18 have done it again. The Jet season is finally over, and it ends with a win over the Dolphins. We'll talk about that and where the Jets go from here. Ladies and gentlemen, for the final time, it's our final post-game show of the 2024 season, and it starts right now. Man.
This is the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We had Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, Jet fans. Before we get started, thank you to everyone who has tuned into these post-game shows all season long. We have now done 20 of them after the conclusion of this one right here. I just want to thank all the Asmaniacs out there who help support this show despite what has clearly been one of the worst seasons, if not the worst season ever. And I don't think that's hyperbole. Thank God this year is over, but I'd be remiss if I didn't thank all of you who support me and allow me to do this full-time, talking about one football team that hasn't made the playoffs since 2010. Think about that. That's how amazing this fan base is. So thank you all for an incredible season despite the lack of winning. Hopefully this time next year, we're getting ready for a playoff game. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be a nice change? God. As far as the game today, look, I'm not going to sit here and be all giddy that they beat the Miami Dolphins. I'm not going to sit here and be that upset that they won and they potentially move back from 6 to number 7, or I guess pending this Vikings-Lions game about to kick off here, 8, because of the strength of schedule if Minnesota wins versus if they lose. Right now, the Jets are scheduled to pick 7. So I'm not going to sit here and do doom and gloom about the draft. We know the Jets aren't in position to get one of these top 2 quarterbacks. Hell, the Giants are picking at number 3, and their fans are up in arms that they can't get a quarterback. So I'm not going to do the doom and gloom about the draft pick stuff. If you want that, find a different show. That's not going to be me. All right? The Jets went out there and they won today. Was I sitting there dying for them to win? No. But am I that upset that they won? I'm not. It would have been nice if Kansas City showed up and actually beat Denver today instead of just mailing it in, and Miami could have made the playoffs with a win, and then the Jets sticking it to them would have meant a little more. But it's never bad to beat the Dolphins and hand them a losing season. So I'll start there. But as far as what we saw today on the field, there's nothing that I saw today that makes me feel one way or another about what this team needs to do. They still need to hire a big-time coach that can hold people accountable. They still need to hire a real general manager that is aligned with the coach. And as far as Aaron Rodgers goes, because we'll talk about him a lot tonight, and I'm sure over the next several weeks until we have an idea what the plan is with him, or he tells us what his plan is, because maybe he retires. It's nice to see an all-time great, if that was his last ever game, not just with the Jets, but in pro football, go out that way, right? I have no ill will at all towards Aaron Rodgers. I don't. People put so much of this season on him, and I think that is so grossly unfair. They leave out how bad the defense has been, how bad the kicking game has been. They leave out the Jets leading the NFL in drop passes, which we saw again today. Oh, by the way, that first interception, I didn't think that was on Rodgers. I thought that was on Devontae. And then Breece Hall had another brutal drop in this game too. Garrett had a drop. There was a bunch of that. I look at Aaron Rodgers like this. He came here for the right reasons. He took the largest pay cut in NFL history. You watch the Netflix doc, you saw that again be reiterated. It just didn't work. And we'll never know what would have happened if 4 plays in. It typical only could happen to the Jet kind of luck. He goes down and his season's over. If Aaron Rodgers played like he did this year through 17 games on last year's team, they make the playoffs. Or if they don't, Woody Johnson does what he still should have done anyway, knowing what we know now. He changes coaches, and maybe Mike Vrabel's coaching the Jets this year. More on him coming up with the news of Gerard Mayo being fired. Oh, by the way, because of course. But that really, we didn't know it at the time, but that's really where the Aaron Rodgers era probably ended. Him going down 4 plays in a year ago. Because it allowed this regime to get a mulligan. And if they were going to get a mulligan, you then can't yank the plug on the coach just 5 games in when you're 2-3 playing for first place. And was Robert Saleh a great coach? Absolutely not. But if you made the decision to go with him into the year, you had to at least give him more than 5 games. So who knows what would have happened. I still think this team was not going to ever win big with Rodgers at quarterback. He's not what he once was. To me, he's still certainly good enough to get a team to the playoffs if the defense was what they were last year, if the kicking game was anywhere close to what it was last year, right? So I don't put this mess of a season all on Rodgers. If you're ranking the list of issues, he's very far down on my list. The coaching, to me, is the biggest reason why this season is the worst season of my lifetime. I have never seen a worse coach team, and I watched every snap of the Adam Gase era. You give Adam Gase this roster, he would have won more than 3 games that Jeff Ulbrich did. 3 and 12? Ulbrich, the final record as the interim? Ugh. Or 3 and 9, I guess. It doesn't matter. God, he and this coaching staff cannot get out soon enough. But you look at the numbers for Rodgers on the year. Once again, if I would have told a Jet fan coming in, Aaron Rodgers would play 17 games. He would not miss 1 snap due to injury this year. Not 1. Are the New York Jets more likely to finish 5-12 or 12-5, which I believe was my original prediction before the year began? You would have told me, oh, Rodgers threw 28 touchdowns, almost 4,000 yards. He played every game. Yeah, the Jets definitely made the playoffs. Yeah, they definitely won the AFC East. Not finished with 5 wins. So it's just only the Jets, man. This year took years off my life, your life, everyone's life, and it's finally over. But if that was it for Aaron Rodgers, at least he goes out, playing at a high level. If he calls it a career, his last touchdown pass is to Devontae. So it is what it is. I don't know if he wants to come back. I don't know if he wants to go out like this. I don't know if the Jets themselves want him back. But I will continue to say this, and I'll say it a lot. Any decision made about Aaron Rodgers' future should be made by the next general manager and the next head coach. It should not be made by Woody Johnson. It should not be made by anyone with the Jets right now besides the future GM and future coach. I don't care how you feel about Aaron personally. I don't care if you want him back, you don't want him back. That decision needs to be made by the next regime. And if it's already been made by Woody, then what are we doing? Because that guy doesn't know what he's doing. We know that. He needs to hire good people and stay out of the way. That's what a good owner does. It's okay that Woody Johnson doesn't know football, but don't pretend like you do know football, because you don't. Hire good people and stay out of their way. That's what James Dolan finally did, and it's worked. That's what Cal McNair down in Houston did, and it's worked. That's what the Ford family did in Detroit, and they're about to play for the 1 seed right now, and it's worked. That's what needs to happen here. But as far as what we saw in this game today, I'm going to go nuts over the Jets beating Snoop Huntley. I mean, this guy is so bad. I thought he was point shaving out there. I mean, my God, week 18 in the NFL in general, some of the quarterback play we saw, it felt like we were watching preseason football. Just terrible. So, look, the Jets got to win. To me, I'm not even bummed out about the draft stuff. I said it just before, whatever. To me, I still have the benefit of a last place schedule. Despite New England picking in front of the Jets, if the Jets had lost this game, they finish in 4th place in the AFC East. Because strength of schedule is used for draft order. Your division record is used for the schedule, last place schedule, right? Or standings in your own division. So if the Jets had lost this game, they'd be 1-5 against the AFC East. New England, with their win today over the backup Bills, would be 2-4. And the Jets, instead of playing the Cowboys now next year, would have played the Giants. The Jets, instead of playing the Broncos next year, they would have played the Raiders. So 2, in theory, more winnable games. But am I going to be that up in arms about that on January 5th? No. It's all about who you play, when you play them. And year to year, we see this all the time. This league changes constantly. So who knows? So I'm not going to be that upset over that either. But that to me is a bigger deal than potentially falling from 7 to 8 in the draft or whatever. 6 to 7, whatever it ends up being. And let's be real. The biggest story to come out of today had nothing to do with what happened on the field. the Patriots, after winning today, after Gerard Mayo cost them the number 1 pick with a win, after going full Lovie Smith when Lovie was the Texans coach a few years ago, the Patriots winning today didn't convince Robert Kraft to keep Gerard Mayo, who's gone after 1 year. And let's be real. Are they making this move if they don't think they're going to get Mike Vrabel, who I believe should be the Jets' number 1 target and who I think is the Jets' number 1 target? But if Mike Vrabel wants to go to New England, what can you do? Now, I don't think it's as foregone of a conclusion as some. Oh, it definitely means he's going there. I'd be surprised if he doesn't, though. When do the Jets ever get a break, right? But I will point out, New England passed on him a year ago. Maybe Vrabel's a little petty. Also, I don't know if Mike Vrabel has a great working relationship with the current Patriots general manager, Elliott Wolf. We have no idea. I do know the Jets seemingly would allow Mike Vrabel to pick the potential GM he'd want to work with. And is that more appealing to him than going to work for his old team? I don't know. I think he probably goes to New England, but I'm not going to sit here and say it's automatically a lock. I also know Robert Kraft is known to be cheap, and it's going to cost a lot to get Mike Vrabel. He's going to have other options besides just New England and maybe the Jets. So that's the other question, too. Is Kraft willing to pay up for Vrabel? But let's be real. Chances are he's going to go there. And if that happens, what is the Jet pivot? What is their approach here? You can't get Vrabel. Who do you get? Is it Brian Flores, whose defense is playing right now? Is it Aaron Glenn, the former Jet, who's going to be a hot name? Is it Rex Ryan, who first told me last week he expected to interview, and that interview will happen on Tuesday? Is it John Gruden, who wants back in? Cliff Kingsbury? Arthur Smith? Are we just going to try and interview a bunch of guys with previous coaching experience? Are we going to hire a first-timer again? If they do the first-timer on defense, I'm not on board. We're going to do the first-timer, get me someone at least on offense. But I still value experience. And for me, I still value a guy like Brian Flores, who after getting fired in Miami, despite having 2 winning seasons in his 3 years there, and overachieving in his first year there when everyone said they were tanking, and he refused to do it. He was available, goes to Pittsburgh, is there with Tomlin for a year, and then guess what happens? Becomes a DC of the Vikings, and look what they've done the last 2 years. Brooklyn guy, hard-nosed, tough, deserves a second chance. Maybe he brings Josh McCown with him as the offensive coordinator. McCown, the quarterback's coach of the Vikings right now. Like, what are the options for the Jets? What's the plan? Those are the questions you now have when it comes to the New York Jets. If we assume Vrabel's off the board, what's plan B? And just because we might not like the hire also doesn't mean it's not going to end up being a good hire. I don't think the Jets deserve the benefit of the doubt, but I will add this. The team that's playing right now, team that's hosting this game, people mock the Dan Campbell move. Mocked it. He's one of the best coaches in the league, so you never know. But they have to get this right. They can't get it wrong. And I feel like Vrabel would be a way to say, well, at least at the bare minimum, we know you got the right coach. At least at the bare minimum, you got the guy. You know, I don't think you could win a Super Bowl without a good coach and good quarterback combo. So at least you're 50% of the way there. Now, we don't know. It's a lot harder. Doesn't mean it can't be done, but it's a lot harder, and that's the reality. But as far as this game today, I am taking nothing from it in regards to what it means going forward. You have to bring Aaron back. No. That's for the next GM and coach to decide if the Jets want to do it right. I'm happy Aaron played well. Happy some of the young guys on this team made some plays. Will McDonald, Garrett Wilson. There you go down the line. But this game means nothing big picture that you beat Snoop Huntley in week 18 of the season. I mean, the Jets finished 5-12. This is one of the worst years ever, and this doesn't change a damn thing. I pray we never have another year like this because I can't take it. I won't survive it, just being totally honest with all of you. I can't. So they have to get these hires right. Or otherwise, nothing matters. They'll continue to be a joke. But, man, you look at Aaron Rodgers' numbers again. What's cruel is if he put up this exact stat line last year, they went 11 or 12 games with the defense being what it was. With Greg Zuerlein being the most accurate kicker in the league a year ago. Missing 3 kicks all last year. What, he missed like 6 in the first 5 weeks this year? Unreal. If you're watching live right now, hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel. I want to thank all the Asmaniacs for your support all season long. We got over 900 of you in here right now. Only 197 likes, so let's get the likes up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Joe Beningo will join us in his weekly spot on the show tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So be on the lookout for Joe B. Big shout out to everyone who tuned in to me on ESPN New York tonight or the last 2 weeks when I filled in on the morning show, DiPietro and Rothenberg. We have a big-time raffle coming up that we will do either tomorrow or Tuesday. The raffle includes a bunch of prizes, such as the replica Joe Willie Namath Super Bowl III ring. It also includes a New York Jets mini helmet that I will send to you. It is a mini helmet with the new logo. It also includes, I just found this from the closet here because I thought I was going to have all these watch parties, but the Jets suck and canceled those. Another Aaron Rodgers jersey that I will send to you. Maybe he just played his last ever game. So you'll have that Rodgers jersey forever, baby. We'll send you that. And I also have a New York Jet winter hat, brand new logo, all that I'll send to you. To be eligible, all you need to do is send in a $20 super chat or more, and you'll get 5 raffle tickets with your name, or for every membership you gift, you're eligible as well. Dan, he gifted 5. He's in. Jeffrey is in for 5. Chris is in for 1. Let's get it going, baby. David is in for 5. So thank you all for gifting memberships. And Jeffrey, you were a raffle winner. You received the Wayne Corbett rookie card and a bunch of other items. So I'm glad that you got yourself those trading cards. Thank you. You want Allen in the hole? We'll get to Allen. You could throw him in the hole. All right. 20 memberships, and we'll get rid of Allen. I think it's his last ever show because he's retiring for some job or something. So wonderful. 25 in the raffle for 5. Dana with a super chat. Shout out to the show and everyone involved. Thank you, Dana. Whitney with a super chat. Finding this channel was the only highlight of the season. Thanks, Jake and the Asmaniacs. Whitney, I appreciate it. This community is the best. Win or lose. Fortunately, all we know is losing. This now wraps up 4 seasons of doing a post-game show and being live every day, talking about the Jets, and I've yet to do it after yet to have a winning season. Think about that. And this has been my full-time job since August of 2023, and we haven't even come close. Bonnie with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Bonnie. Thanks for helping me get through the season. Been great to have the community for Jet Talk and some laughs. Looking forward to the change. Jet fan for life. Hey, win or lose, we're Jet fans for life. Wayne with a super chat. At this point, coaches are interviewing the Jets, not the other way around. No way Vrabel chooses the Jets over the Pats. Look, I don't know if Vrabel would choose any other job over the Patriots, right? That could be his dream job. I do know this. The Jet job is not the worst job that's available. There are a lot of attractive pieces to it. So let's not act like no one's going to take this job. I don't believe that. Holy crap, ladies and gentlemen, a 50 burger, a 50 spot from Mimosa. Oh, my goodness.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Oh, my God, Mimosa, you're unreal. Wow, sound the alarm. Unreal 50 burger.
Now, give me money. Or I shoot him. And I shoot all you motherfuckers. And then we take it. Your choice, bitches.
All right, if you hear your name, 50 of you just got memberships. That's unreal. Mimosa, you are the greatest. Thank you for supporting the show. That is $250 spent for the Asmaniacs there. Thank you so much, Mimosa. You're awesome. I mean, you got a great chance of winning this raffle. I mean, what do you have, like 250-something entries in at least? Unreal. Thank you. I don't want to slow the show down with so many people on hold to name 50 names. But if you got one, make sure you thank Mimosa and everyone else who gifted a membership tonight. Tyrone says, I don't want Rex. What he said about Aaron was total kissing Woody's behind. Look, I love Rex, but Rex today on TV was talking about Aaron Rodgers' future and said, oh, well, he's not even all in. He didn't go to minicamp. And I'm like, Rex, stop it. You're either being told by Woody to say that because you know Woody didn't like that, or you're just not following the story. Aaron Rodgers' commitment to the Jets should not be questioned because he missed 2 days in June without being at minicamp. It's such an overplayed, nonsensical story. Let's stop with that. There were 14 OTA/minicamp practices. He went to 12 of them. So by that logic, he should have only went to the 2 that actually required every player to be there for. That makes sense. The Jets sucked this year. It had nothing to do with that. So if Rex truly feels that way, then come on. I still like Rex, love Rex, but I don't think he's getting the job. But That the reasoning but to his answer was very weak. I will add that. AD with a 5 spot of channel memberships. Thank you, AD. Jeffrey with another 5 spot of channel memberships. Oh, baby, it is raining channel membership. P. Green, Jake, can we feel happy about today's game? Yeah, man. I don't think you should feel sad about today's game. I don't think losing is that devastating. If the Jets go from picking 7 or 6 to 7 or 8, like I'm going to cry about that? No, I'm not. If a good GM can't find a player in the top 8 that can help your football team, he's not a good GM. All right? So, no, I'm not going to cry about it. Ryad writes in, hard to not think Vrabel was using the Jets for leverage. Just another Patriot-related coach screwing the Jets. I don't think it's that, Ryad. I think Mike Vrabel would seriously consider this job. He didn't know that job would open up. I think the Jets had to have a legit chance at him. I think it's tough to see him choosing the Jets over the Pats now, for sure, but I'm not going to sit here and say he was only using the Jets for leverage. He's going to take other interviews, too, before he just goes to the Pats. Watch. He'll interview for other gigs. Abu Dhabi Jet fan. They can't hurt us in the offseason. Well, they can if they hire, a GM and coach candidate we can't stand. But I do appreciate the sentiment. The on-field pain is at least over. And thank heavens that it is, because I can't do it anymore, folks. If you're watching live right now, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, support this program. That's what it's all about. We'll get to your calls coming up. Let me thank our 2 incredible post-game sponsors. Let me start with Joe DeVizio Realty. Sellwithjoe.com. If you're a Jet fan and you're not sure if you want to sell your home, you don't know what it will take, Joe's the guy for you. Sellwithjoe.com. He's one of us. He's an Asmaniac. He's a Jet season ticket holder. Him and his team are the best in the tri-state at what they do. They can help you with really anything related to your home. Him and his team are one of the top real estate professionals in all of New Jersey and the surrounding metro areas. They're going to get you top dollar in any market, anywhere in the area, no matter your situation or what condition your home's in. If you're behind on payments, they can help you there. Whole house needs repairs, no problem. Bad tenant, squatters, not a problem for Joe DeVizio. The Jets are a problem for Joe and for me and everyone, but selling your home, not a problem for Joe. Selling your home, that's what they do. They do everything: single family, multifamily, commercial buildings, investment properties, condos, townhouses, beachfront, lakeside, urban dwelling. It doesn't matter. Check out the real estate website in my description box, or starting tomorrow, give Joe a call, 859-CALL-JOE. That's 859-CALL-JOE, and get ready to cash out. Thank you to Joe for being a post-game sponsor all season long. Our next post-game sponsor for this season has been Custom Bourbon Tours. Jet fans, you need a vacation after the hellhole that you watched. Book your stay down on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail with CustomBourbonTours.com. You go to the website, and then you'll see. You pick the distilleries you want to visit, the vehicle you want to travel in. They offer flexible, zero-interest payment plans, so you can completely set up your private group outing in less than 4 minutes online. Then go eat a goddamn snack. CustomBourbonTours.com. You should be giving them the business down there. Thank you to Liam and the team. Liam, diehard Jet fan, suffering like all of us. Thank you to Custom Bourbon Tours for being a post-game sponsor all season long. Jet fans, support them. I'm telling you, they're the best at what they do. CustomBourbonTours.com. Some more Super Chats, then we get to your calls. Sam says, if the Pats eat Vrabel, make them pay. Yeah, Mike Vrabel's not the only good coach that's available. So you got to hire a different coach if he goes to New England. Idaho says, how will you feel if we hire Ron Rivera? How will I feel? I will, I mean, I'll be I can't even speak. That's how I feel. I will be livid. I will find where Woody Johnson lives and show up outside his home and boom. That's how I'll feel. Abu Dhabi says the big question action is Travis Hunter this year's Knoble? I heard that Travis Hunter got inspiration from Knoble, Abu Dhabi. That's what I heard. Dan Hops in the raffle with another entry. 1 membership gifted. P. Green, Super Chat. Jake, who do you think will be the quarterback next year, and will Wilson stay? Garrett Wilson will stay. I believe he will be extended. By the way, good to see Garrett Wilson get over 100 catches this year. 1,100 yards. He's a stud. Who's the quarterback next year? I'm going to say it's Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields in a quarterback battle to start. I think Rodgers retires. That's my initial feel. I think he's done. And I think Rodgers will love the attention of any time there's a quarterback that gets hurt in the offseason or early next year. Could he come out of retirement? But if he plays, I have a hard time believing it's with the Jets. I felt like Vrabel might have been the one coach that would say, I want Aaron, and the Jets would be like, okay. I don't know, though, now. It really depends on the coach. Once again, that decision needs to be made by the next GM and coach. I cannot reiterate that enough. Altuna says, is Abu Dhabi Jet fan responsible for those Abu Dhabi commercials that run 50 times over the course of every Knicks game? He might be. I mean, the Knicks do have the Abu Dhabi patch on the jersey this year. Mickey Rosso writes in, Jets win again in Week 17, 2009 versus Bengals backups, 37-0. Flores win again in 2020 versus Bills backups, Week 17, lose 56-26. Flores never made the playoffs as a head coach. Well, Rex beat Brady, Peyton, etc. So you're arguing for Rex over Flores. I get it. Rex Ryan hasn't been an NFL head coach in a decade, and he hasn't been the Jet coach since 2014. So, I mean, Brian Flores is in the league now. It's a little different. Ask yourself this question, and I like Rex. I'd rather Rex over someone who's never been a head coach before. But ask yourself this question. How many other teams in the NFL are interviewing Rex Ryan to be their head coach this hiring cycle? How many? The answer is 0. It's just the Jets. It's only one team out of 32. So I'm just saying. Michael writes in, so many classic Jet Dolphin games. This was not one of them. Still good to beat them. I wish it would have truly knocked them out of the playoffs, but the no-show by the backup Kansas City Chiefs basically nullified this game. Mock, it's obvious Rodgers wants to keep playing, but GM and coach must decide. He definitely has more left, but I'm indifferent. I don't think it's obvious he definitely wants to keep playing. He sounded like a guy earlier this week that was seriously contemplating retirement. It felt like a retirement game for him. Maybe he changed his mind or he does want to play. I don't know. I think he retires, though. That's my feel right now as we sit here and do this postgame show. My opinion could change. I haven't heard his postgame tonight. I'm on the air right now. I don't know what he said. If he said anything interesting, super chat it in. You let me know. But he said he's going to take time and make a decision no matter what happened today. And I'd imagine that's what he reiterated after this game as well. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, your super chats. We get to your calls coming up momentarily. David Atkins is in our raffle. He wants a chance at the Super Bowl ring. He wants a chance at the Rodgers jersey. He wants a chance at the mini helmet. Let's go.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive one ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
There you go. 5 more entries. Blair checks in. I found your show in September right after I went to my first Jet game. Thank you for all your wisdom. Blair, thanks for watching. The show is not the show without the Asmaniacs. Anyone can come on and talk about the Jets. This is a show because of the community that we have built. So I'm grateful to all of you for that. All right, let's get to some of your calls right now. First up on the Gusbuster hotline tonight is a dear friend of this channel. He started listening to me as a talk show host on ESPN New York. And then he's like, this guy's pretty good. And he's a Jet fan, and he has the biggest Jet YouTube channel in the world. I got to start tuning in. So he became a frequent caller from that point on. And he revealed to us in an exclusive video a bet that he made before the Jet season began.
All right, guys. Big shout out to the Asmaniacs. Shout out to the companies. I had a bet with James. This year, I lost. The Jets, all they needed to do was win 9 games. They didn't need to make the playoffs. They didn't need to do anything except go 9-8. And they are so inept that they couldn't even do that. So, without further ado, for the time being, for the rest of the day, and now nighttime, I am no longer Purple Belt Mike. I am Purple Belt Clown.
Hello, Purple Belt Clown.
Hello, boys and girls. This was a great Jets season, let me tell you. So I have prepared a poem-ish thing that I have to read. So without further ado, here we go. We started with hope. Yeah, we thought we'd rise, but now we're stuck watching the Jets crash out of the skies. Aaron Rodgers came and he was supposed to lead, but all we got is heartbreak, another losing streak. Oh, the Jets, they're a mess. It's a painful ride. Rodgers ain't the answer, no matter how hard he tried. Every Sunday we watch, it's all just a joke. Another season of dreams going up in smoke. The defense played hard, but the offense is weak. Rodgers looks lost, can't find a win if he seeks. The Super Bowl is a dream that we will never touch. It's the same old story. It hurts so much. So here we are again, another defeat. A season so bad, it's just hard to believe. Rodgers was the hope, and now he's part of the pain. Another year of watching the Jets go down the drain.
Ladies and gentlemen, Purple Belt Clown. Bravo to Mike. Well done, sir. I'm sorry for your pain. I mean, everyone would have made that bet. They just had to win 9 games. That was it. I mean, geez. Team won 7 last year with Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle playing most of the games. Mario with a super chat. Jake, if A-Rod's gone, does that also mean Devontae gone? Yeah, probably. I mean, I would still try to keep Devontae. Look, if Rodgers retires, I think you have a better chance of maybe keeping Devontae. I would try. The guy could still play. And no matter who the quarterback is next year, you need receivers. You have Garrett Wilson and then who? Lazard's gone. Malachi Corley can't get on the field. Xavier Gibson's a bum. Sorry, nice guy, I'm sure, but he's not good. They need receivers. They need receivers. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Appreciate everyone for their support. Now, Jeffrey wrote that I skipped his super chat, but I don't think I did. But I'm checking right now for you, Jeffrey. If it was this one, I already read it about throwing Allen in the hole. I already read that, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. But I appreciate the support. Joe the Jet says, get ready for Arthur Smith. We are so screwed. That would not excite me. I would be very upset. Aaron says, I'm leaving towards getting Dimitrov. Look, if they hired him as GM, I would like that hire a lot. Experience. I think he did a good job in Atlanta. I'm in on that. I want experience for both. Drew says, Devontae just said he'd be surprised if Rodgers retired. All right. We'll see. If he's back with the Jets, it needs to be because the next coach and GM want him back. They got to be aligned. Kyle Clifton with a super chat. Borgonzi, Nagy, Gain, Brady, Moore probably with Mayo fire. Borgonzi and Nagy, Gain, and Brady. I don't know. Where are you getting these pairings from? Just because Borgonzi and Matt Nagy work together with the Chiefs? It's possible. I mean, Mike Borgonzi, I would expect him to be a candidate, right? He's one of the hot assistant GM names you keep hearing. So it's possible. We'll see. More of your calls right now. Matthias is up next on the Gus Buster hotline tonight. What's up, Matthias?
Jake, I feel like I can eat 3 boxes of gas station pizza at 7-Eleven right now after hearing the news of New England firing Mayo. I have no hope. I really do. I don't. I'm just like so defeated right now just when I saw that news because it pretty much just said to me like it's a done deal. I mean, I hope it's not a done deal, and like you said, like maybe it's not, but it just seems like over the Jets and Patriots job, like Alan said, like I just think Vrabel is going to go right to New England, and it hurts to say that, but hey, I mean,
he might. But he's not the only good coach that's out there. I mean, you try to get him. If he goes to New England, he goes to New England. Like you got to hire. It doesn't give the Jets a pass for not still getting this hire correct.
No, you're right. I mean, and we also, I mean, ideally, like if Minnesota, when their season ends, like we can have the chance of interviewing Flores, right? Is that how it works? Like
if Minnesota gets the bye, you could talk to Flores next week. If they don't, you can't have any in-person interaction with a team that's still in the playoffs until the 20th, I believe, is the new rules they have. So it's going to be a long played out process. It's not just going to happen in a week or so.
Right. I mean, obviously he's my second choice. I mean, Aaron Glenn, I just can't do a first year rookie head coach, especially defense. I have solid PTSD, and I just don't want to deal with that again. And I'm sure a lot of people don't. Rex, I liked Rex during those times, but after what he said, Rex just seems like he's just kissing Woody's ass, and I don't know. I don't know if I can deal with a Rex. I mean, hey, listen, if Woody hires, if they hire Rex Ryan or God knows any of these other guys, like just tank the season and hopefully Woody sells the team, but we all know it's not going to happen. But yeah, I'm just demoralized. I think Allen is like Nostradamus. He just makes predictions and it just feels like it just comes true with Allen's like.
All right, enough. Thank you. Goodbye. Stop. Be negative about the Jets, and chances are you'll be right. How many predictions has he had that are wrong, too? Also, Mike Vrabel didn't even take the job yet. Can we relax? Can we see it play out? Like, he's the only good coach that's out there? I want him too, but, like, geez. Now we have Allen truthers on this show? Give me a break. Oh, my God. Remember, they had the tank last year to get Olu. They couldn't beat New England the last game. They're never going to get an offensive tackle. Never going to get a left tackle. How'd that work out? Jeffrey with a super chat. Did you notice the touchdown Tay caught was kept by Tay? That was the one I was talking about. I didn't notice that. And the only touchdown I noticed was the 500 touchdown to Conklin, and Rodgers got the ball right away because it was his 500 touchdown. Omari with a super chat for us. Hill requested a trade. Yeesh, going to be an interesting offseason for all teams. Tyreek Hill requested a trade? Is that real? Who said that? Tyreek, let me see. I'm opening the door. I'm out, bro. It was great playing here, but at the end of the day, I got to do what's best for my career. I'm too much of a competitor to just be out there. Well, good. That'll take some of the attention away from the Garrett Wilson trade stuff that is not happening anyway. All these teams got problems, man. I know we focus so much on the Jets. The reality is when you have a losing year, a lot of teams got problems. Derek writes in with a super chat. Jake, did you hear the rumblings of Kevin O'Connell being open to coaching somewhere else? Yeah, you know what that was? That was, hey, here's Kevin O'Connell's agent. Let me leak it to Jay Glazer. Hey, teams are going to call about Kevin O'Connell. You know, he doesn't have a contract beyond this year. Basically trying to put pressure on the Vikings to sign him to a big-time extension. That's what I think is happening here. If you think Kevin O'Connell is actually available, I mean, I got a bridge I want to sell everyone who believes that. Now, if you're the Jets, do you call? Sure. But it's not going to happen. I'm not even going to set myself up to believe it's possible. Just like Mike Tomlin, could the Steelers trade him if they lose in the playoffs next week? I would trade my entire draft for Mike Tomlin. But it's not going to happen. The Steelers aren't dumb. They're not going to fire him, despite how disappointing, their season's going to end up being after they were 10-3. Devin in the raffle with 5 more entries. Let's go.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Let's get 2 more of your calls. 25 is up next. What's up, 25?
What's going on, Jake? How are you?
I'm all right. Hanging in.
Okay. A couple points. I was of the opinion that we should lose this game strictly because, I mean, even if we went up a draft spot or 2, you could always trade down, and hoping that we have a competent GM, maybe we'd get more than what Joe Douglas got. And if we didn't, if we got the same, then maybe they'd make a good pick. Also, too, I get that we don't like Dolphin fans. They're the worst, but they're going to have the excuse. It's not as satisfactory as I would have thought beating a Tyler Huntley-led Dolphins team as opposed to Tua.
No, I'm indifferent about it. I mean, it doesn't make me feel good at all. I'm also not going to sit here and be like, how could they win? Like, right. I'm not surprised. Like, I expected the Jets to win today. I picked them. I bet them. I made $100 betting them to win because this is what the Jets do. This is Week 18. Ashton Davis becomes Ed Reed in Week 18 every year. We saw it last year too. So, I was very confident the Jets were going to win today. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm surprised. Like, it is what it is. They beat Tyler Huntley. If they lost, you could argue it'd be better to have a higher pick, sure, but it's also not devastating that they won. I'm way more focused on the news out of New England with Mayo, and if that means they now can't get Vrabel because he's going to go there, and what that means for the Jets coaching search going forward, because Vrabel was my number 1 choice.
Right, yeah. I mean, it was I'm not going to be happy or necessarily mad about it. I did enjoy trolling TD Finn's talk in his YouTube channel, but I did want to root for the loss. Now, to my next point, I can't wait until Neil gets on and ride Rodgers' chestnuts because that's going to happen. My opinion on Rodgers is you cannot bring him back. I mean, if there's so many people that I've already seen started flipping over one good game, the comparison that I'm bringing up is that you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whoever, they, them, that you're dating and you love them. And then they break up with you. You had a lot of good times, but the bad times outweighed the good times. And then she breaks up with you, and then by some miracle, you guys reignite. Maybe, you reignite, you have dinner and everything goes well, you get back together, or maybe you make passionate love for one more time. And that's what I feel like this is. I mean, everybody last week on your show was hating on Rodgers. And I mean, just looking at your Discord and the chats, there's a lot of people that are going the complete opposite now. It's
what
like,
does
bring
fan
Rodgers
stand
back.
for? What does fan stand for?
I mean, yeah, they
Fanatic.
want to.
That's what this
they
is.
They want to root for the win, but they can't after one good performance. And let's be honest, it was a great performance out of Rodgers. He looked pretty mobile and everything like that. But you got to take into account that it was one game. Last week, everybody was pounding the table to get rid of him. Now, half the fan base wants to get him back. You can't bring him back. The dead cap situation just makes no sense. And there's
unless
a lot
he takes
people,
a pay cut. Unless he takes
exactly.
a pay cut, that's the only way. A lot would have to happen for him to be bad. It's not even just a pay cut. He's got to scrap this offense they're running and run a modern NFL offense. And if he's not willing to do that, you can't bring him back. I don't care who the quarterback is, because you're not going to win it with a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers running his offense. It's not going to work.
Yeah, and just really quickly before I get out of here, it's up to the next regime on who they want ultimately, and I'm on board with that. But my opinion is my own. You can't bring back this old doddering fool. You cannot. Two bridge quarterbacks that I'm looking at. Everybody's talking about Justin Fields, but somebody that I'm but somebody that I'm looking at is the Pastronaut, Josh Dobbs. Look what he did today. Look what he does when he has a competent coach. He does have a fall off after like 4 or 5 games, but if we're talking about a bridge quarterback and somebody to compete with Tyrod, I wouldn't be opposed to having Josh Dobbs or Justin Fields here. I wouldn't over Rodgers. I would take both of them right now over Aaron Rodgers.
I think you're nuts if you think Josh Dobbs is better than Aaron Rodgers. So no, thank you. Fields, I think, makes sense because he's a former first-round guy. We've seen the career resurgence of Darnold and Baker. Fields has that first-round top 10 pick pedigree. But no, thank you. Josh Dobbs stinks. I'm good on Josh Dobbs. Fields, fine. Fields and Tyrod, that to me would make sense for the Jets. Dobbs, though, no, I'm good. Curly with a super chat. Hard to be positive with this poverty franchise. Vrabel used us. We have mental illness, but thanks for the Jet therapy and great community, Jake. Kill me. I don't think Mike Vrabel used the Jets. I think if you're saying that, you're just pissed and talking out of school. The guy who wrote the Mike Vrabel sit-down story, Zach Rosenblatt, said Mike Vrabel's not using the Jets. That's not what Ian Rappaport said either. I can't fault Vrabel if he wants to go back to New England, where he has a relationship with the owner there and he's in their Ring of Honor. It stinks, but I don't think the Jets are being used here. And I also think Mike Vrabel is not just going to go to New England immediately. I'd be shocked. I think he's going to go and interview with a bunch of other jobs that open up starting tomorrow. Dan says, any priority free agents you want this upcoming offseason? I haven't gotten that far as what's out there. I want the Jets to re-sign Jamie and Sherwood, and I'd bring back Morgan Moses on a one-year deal and draft someone that's eventually going to be the long-term answer at right tackle. You could sell me on Conklin on a one-year deal, and then you have to add to that tight end room in the draft. They got to improve the tight end room, though. I mean, blocking-wise, Rucker, not good enough. Yeboah's just a guy. So I'd bring back Conklin so you have someone, and then look to draft and add to the tight end room. Johnny Danks checks in. Hey, Jake, thanks for an entertaining season. I know it's a few months away, but any plans on having a draft party at T-Squared Social in April? Yes, Johnny. You read my mind. I haven't spoken to T-Squared about this, but my plan is to do an Asmaniac draft party while I'll be live from wherever the draft party is in April. So keep night one of the draft open for all the Asmaniacs out there. We will do some sort of draft fiesta somewhere. Hopefully at T-Square, but I haven't run it by them yet, so I don't want to talk out of school. Hex writes in, some people are going to have to gift memberships if they're going to call in again. I don't know what that means. but I'm a capitalist, baby. So more memberships, the better for me, baby. Hello, the money phone. Sam writes in, Teddy Bridgewater is back. What do you think? No thanks. Let's keep Rodgers if we're going to go with Teddy Two Gloves. More of your calls right now. This guy was called out by our last caller. Neil is up next. Hello, Neil.
Wow, that 25, he really has great. He has that speaker, that nice microphone. He trolls other chats. What a star he is. He's a star in the making. I wish I could grow up and be like 25. He looks like a winner. Josh Dobbs, that's who I want to see run around our backfield here. Screw Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer. I like Josh Dobbs. That's a great one. That guy, I take Hundley over Josh Dobbs. He won his last game. Look, you made a couple points in the beginning of the show, and I just want to give a quick list of why we were as bad as we were. Coaching, Jake, is that number one on the list of why we performed poorly this year? Would you agree with that take?
I would.
Okay. How about number two, the defense? Defensive line, losing all our defensive line players, Hassan Reddick, all these other jerks that we have in there trying to do something. That is probably number two reason why we're poor as we are. Would you agree with that?
The defense, which I think has a lot to do with coaching, I would put ahead of the issues with offense, yes.
But what that roster, my God, Tony Adams couldn't cover me. I'm 63 years old. He couldn't tackle me. Our secondary, our safeties are the worst in football, okay? So that's a major part. How many points more did we give up this year than last year? I know we scored 338 points this year, which is about 100 points more than we scored last year. That's a pretty significant jump in points scored year over year, wouldn't you say? Compared to what we looked at in the last
Neil, I know
3
what
years.
you're doing. You're setting up the argument to why to keep Rodgers. I get it.
No. I'm giving you the reasons why we sucked. So defense goes number two after coaching. Our special teams was a catastrophe this year compared to what it's been the last 2 or 3 years. Would you agree with that?
The special teams was horrific.
Horrific. And our special teams the last 2 or 3 years has been top 5, maybe top 10. Would you say when
I would. Neil, we know why the team sucked. I can't revisit why they sucked. We know why they sucked. That doesn't mean they should necessarily keep Rodgers. There's so much that has to happen for that.
Again, all I hear from the chat and all these geniuses is that Rodgers is the reason we sucked.
He's not.
That's all I hear. And I really think that's the last thing on the list of 10 why we sucked. Penalties. Over and over and over. Discipline. Again, fumbles. Breece Hall fumbled, 5 times this year? Breece Hall was not a superstar this year, was he, Jake? He didn't look that great to me. Did he look great to you?
No.
He looked like a top 5 running back?
I think
I
part
saw
of the
Josh
issues,
Jacobs
Neil,
run
is the
people
scheme.
over.
Okay, now do the offensive scheme that Aaron
scheme-
Rodgers implemented. That's a big part of all this. If he's here
Aaron
next year,
Rodgers-
he has to take a pay cut and learn a real offense, which I don't know if he wants to do at age
The
41 going on
scheme
42.
Sucked. The scheme sucked. Okay, I agree 100%. The scheme sucked. We have to learn an entire new 2025 offense. If Rodgers is willing to learn that new offense and take a huge pay cut, I think he's a better bridge than if somebody has a better bridge quarterback than Josh Dobbs or anybody. I welcome anybody to tell me who is a better bridge option with Rodgers learning a new offense with a really good head coach and maybe and having Devontae Adams to me looks pretty damn good. He's probably one of the 3 or 4 best receivers we ever had running with a Jet uniform on. And he only played a limited part this year. He certainly wasn't Reddick, right?
No.
Devontae Adams Reddick? He looked
I
pretty
want
damn
Devontae
good.
back either way. I like Devontae Adams a lot.
Well,
I agree.
Devontae said it in the post game that he doesn't think Rodgers is going to retire. I also heard from some pretty smart people. Who was the guy announcing today? Was that who was the guys on the broadcast today?
Greg Olson.
Okay. Either Greg Olson or the other guy said there's going to be at least 2 or 3 teams that are going to look to take Rodgers on if he decides to come back. Did you hear that? Because I heard it.
He said that. What did he say? No, I was on the radio
He
during
said
this game.
2
today.
or 3 teams are going to be willing to take Rodgers on, especially with Devontae Adams as a pairing.
Maybe. Maybe.
Okay. I would say that there's at least 2 or 3 teams in the league that are quarterback deficient that would love to have a number 1 receiver with Rodgers, second year off of an Achilles. Because, again, he had an Achilles. And, Vinny Testaverde told me with a towel on in the bathroom that it takes a while to come back from an Achilles.
He did.
Kirk Cousins came back from an Achilles. How did he do? He got benched.
Aaron's better than Kirk Cousins. That's not what we're debating. I don't want Kirk Cousins
Kirk
as a Jet either.
Cousins, prior to the Achilles, was a pretty good quarterback, right? We would have been happy to have Kirk Cousins instead of Derek Carr or many of the other quarterbacks that were our choices outside of Aaron Rodgers before we came here. Wouldn't it be if you had Kirk Cousins 2 years ago instead of Derek Carr or Garoppolo or all the other bullshit quarterbacks we were talking about, wouldn't that have been a better choice?
Correct. But Neil,
and then we end up in the same spot.
Neil, here's what you're not considering. Aaron Rodgers, for 3 straight years, has dealt with serious injuries that have clearly affected his performances. Last year in Green Bay, last year we know what happened 4 plays in, and all throughout this year. I don't see it getting better next year. And I also need to know that he, one, will take this big pay cut because I'm not keeping him for 1 more year and dealing with $63 million in dead cap in 2026. So it's a non-starter if he doesn't redo his deal significantly. And 2, I don't know if he wants to learn another playbook at age 41.
He would learn it.
Going
he
on
did
42.
Say he would learn a new offense.
Yeah, but we know Aaron always will say he might say the right thing, and then when they hire the OC, he might have an issue with that. And then what do you do then?
Okay. Well, There's
a lot that has to happen. I do agree with you. He's better than a lot of the other alternative options. But 1, he could retire, and 2, just because he might be their best option, like just in a vacuum for next year, this is no longer a decision they're making just to try and win next year. It's now about what the next regime is going to do, because at some point, if not this year, then in 2026, the Jets are going to have to draft a quarterback probably early. That's coming. So you're not thinking about just 2025 now. You're thinking about the path going forward, and it might be try and win as many games as possible next year. But it's not like this year where you were all in to try and do damage this year. They failed. So that part of the timeline is now over for any decision with Aaron Rodgers.
I think a coaching change is going to make a big step forward. And I agree. I'm going to tell you something. I'm happy that the Patriots got rid of Mayo, because I'm going to tell you something right now. Okay, if I'm Woody Johnson and I own this team, I got a big ass checkbook. And I'm going to tell you right now, Robert Kraft is the last guy he wants to lose to, okay, in a bidding war for Vrabel. Okay, think about that a second, Jake. He's not going to be so happy just to let Vrabel walk out the door and walk into New England. He's going to make a big-time run to try to get that coach, if that's who they really want. Wouldn't you agree with that? I think look, it's a Soto. If we're going to take Vrabel and turn him into Soto, Kraft is against Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson wants to win. Maybe years ago he didn't want to win. Right now he wants to win. And if Vrabel was in the building and they were obviously impressed with him, and the conversation went very, very, very well according to everybody, I'm not giving up on the fact that if we want Vrabel, he's not going to be. We're not going to make a serious run at him. And I think by them doing this, I think makes Woody want him even more. And if we want him, and Woody is ready to write the check, I don't discount the fact that we're going to make a serious run for him if that's who we really want. I wouldn't say that's a bad thing.
I don't even think it's just money. That's certainly part of it. I think the advantage the Jets have is New England's got a GM as of now. They fire Elliott. So I think if you want Vrabel, which I hope the Jets do, you let Vrabel pick his GM, and maybe that's more enticing to him. But we don't know. I'm with
And
you.
I think we want him more now that Mayo is gone.
I don't think they're
now
going to get
we
him,
know.
though. I don't.
What's that?
I don't think he's going to end up being a Jet. I hope they could hire him. I think he's going to go to New England. But I do agree with some of what you're saying. I don't think it's just a shoo-in. He's there. I still think he's going to take other interviews. And if the Jets truly want him, he wants to work with a GM he's comfortable with. So let him pick the GM he wants to work with. So we'll see. I think that's what it really could come down to too.
I think we have a really good shot at him, and I think that Woody Johnson will surprise people because the last thing we want again is to take a backseat to the Patriots. You know, I don't want to take a backseat to those son of a bitches. I don't want Kraft to get the better of us, and this would be a real stick in our ass. And that would, think about it, Jake. If we lose, if we end up having Vrabel walk into the Patriots and sign a deal, that's gonna suck. It's gonna really piss off a lot of real longtime Jet fans.
Unless they get it right. He's not the only good coach that's out
there.
No,
I know. But he's the number one candidate out there, clearly. Everybody would, he's clearly the number one candidate. So if he's the number one candidate, he's the best free agent coach. I want the Jets to make the move and do what they need to do to take him away from the Patriots.
These goddamn exploding cigars. I gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
I agree. You try and get him. It's not over just yet. I feel like it's unlikely. If I had to bet my life on where Mike Vrabel ends up, I think he goes to the Patriots, but I don't think it's completely over. Here's why. This was a clip from Mike Giardi, longtime Patriots reporter. He was on WEEI radio the other day. This is obviously before we found out Mayo got fired. But listen to his answer here. He's asked if the Pats will clean house, but then he specifically talks about Mike Vrabel and all this. Take a listen.
Yeah, I do. I do think there's a possibility of it happening. I think that for me right now, the only two things that I could see holding them back from making the changes on the coaching staff that we're talking about is A, the loyalty to Gerard. He picked him on the trip. This is going to be my guy. And it happened a year earlier than we thought. They thought Bill would still be the coach this year, but last year, tanked so badly that, okay, now we're going to do it. And he just wasn't ready for it. We'll give him another chance. We've got $120 million to spend in cap. We'll do that. We're going to have these high picks. We'll do that, and we'll give him an opportunity. And the other part of that would be they're cheap. And so do you want to not only blow out this coaching staff, that's going to cost, I don't know, call it $40 million.
Right, yeah.
Then you got to hire the new coaching staff. And if the Mike Vrabel thing, if that's what you believe is where they'd want to go, Mike Vrabel's probably going to command at least $15 million a year, and it might be 20 because he's going to have 3 or 4 teams that want to hire him. So including the Jets, who have shown they'll pay money. They may not know what they're going to do, but they'll spend the money. So do they want to then turn around and spend 40 to 50 million on a new staff? So it's, whatever, 70, 80, 90 million dollars just to clean up the mistake that you made last year when you wrote into his contract that he was going to be your future coach.
So money does matter here, right? They fired Mayo. Mayo was also awful. It doesn't mean that it's automatic Vrabel's going there. I mean, Gerard Mayo was a terrible coach, if we're being fair. Talk to any Patriot fan about his press conferences and clock management and coaching hire choices. So I think he's going to go to New England. I do. But the Patriots are cheap. That is a real thing. And Belichick has openly taken shots at Robert Kraft the last year or so, alluding to that. It's like the worst kept secret in the league. Julio writes in with a super chat. Jets interviewing Vrabel triggered the Mayo firing. I don't think it was just that, Julio. I don't. Jesse says, any shot Sam Darnold comes back here? I don't see it. I think if you want to talk about a Brian Flores coach, McCown OC, and quarterback from the Vikings coming here, it'd be a trade for J.J. McCarthy. I don't believe it would be Darnold. I really don't. I'd be shocked. Super chat from Mock. Rodgers, number 2 at fault. His lack of leadership was exposed. They brought in everyone he wanted, and his on-field behavior was pathetic and contagious. Neil, thumbs down. You really believe that? You really think Rodgers is the number 2 reason this team won 5 games? The man threw 28 touchdowns this year and almost 4,000 yards and played every game. Zach Wilson in 3 years threw 23 career touchdown passes. Rodgers threw 28 in a single season. I can't help you if you're putting Rodgers as the number 2 reason why this team failed. How many games did Rodgers play well enough at the end and they had the lead and the defense blew it? New England, Indianapolis, Miami. That's just 3 right there. How many games did Greg Zuerlein's kick go wide left or right or shank off a crossbar, and that cost him games? What, 3 conservatively? Jeffrey says, let's get Frank Reich. To do what? Be the head coach? No way. On the coaching staff in some capacity? Sure. Not as head coach. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the big fella is on the line. What's up, big fella?
Hey, man, I just want to say thanks for this whole season and everything, I know.
It was supposed to be opened after we won the AFC East.
Yeah.
Now what?
Hey, I predicted 13-4. We end up 5-12. I'm going to be sober tonight too. But anyway, the coaching situation that, Vrabel possibly going to New England and, us thinking, well, it's so bad, he's the top candidate. A lot of times during seasons, at the end of the season, there are surprise firings. There's always surprise firings at the end of every season.
Yeah, tomorrow could be nuts.
That's what I'm saying. So we don't know exactly who's going to be available. Stefanski may be available. Who knows, But there's that. So don't worry about Vrabel. We're going to be all right with that. I mean, if New England takes him, like you said, I don't think it's just about the money with him. If he goes to New England, I think there's more sentimental and, his familiarity and being in the Ring of Honor. I think that's a huge part of it for him. So there's that. Now for Rodgers, okay, Rodgers may not have been the only problem this season for our team, but he was a significant problem to our team this year. His pride of not coming at it, taking a game or 2 off.
That's coaching, though, big fella. A real coach could have said, hey, Aaron, you're hurting the team by being out. You think Jeff Ulbrich, as the interim, was going to go toe-to-toe with the Hall of Fame 4-time MVP and say you're not playing? That's why you hired like a Vrabel, or you hired Brian Flores, and they were coaching the team this year instead of Saleh and the Ulbrich administration. Maybe things would be different. Because I agree with you. Rodgers should have probably not played after the London game. He was that banged up. But guess what? Like, they don't have the balls to sit him. No chance. Jeff Ulbrich was not telling Aaron Rodgers, you're not playing.
But if that's the case, then Ulbrich should have never been on the staff because you got to have balls when you're in a leadership position. So
it's different when you're the interim and you need Aaron Rodgers to be on your side, or you have no chance of being the long-term answer coach. He's compromised.
That's true. Yo, I lost my parlay today with underdog, man. It sucks. I lost by 1 reception with Garrett Wilson today. I needed 5. He got 4. So what are you going to do?
I had him in an underdog too, and he cost me some money. That 1 drop he had was the difference.
Oh my God. I go to my son. I'm like, I just lost, bro. And you want to know something? I bet $15 to win 600. And I had everything set except for that 1. So what are you going to do? But like I said, thanks for everything. This season, I'll obviously still be here, but we have better things to look forward to,
Look, the quest to be back-to-back-to-back off-season champions gets started tomorrow. That's what it's all about.
We must have had a shitty week of practice, bro. We must have had the worst week of practice. I'll tell you right now.
I guess so. Big fella, you're the best. Thanks for all your support of the channel. And, it's not a farewell. We're still going to be live every day. But
yeah, obviously.
You're appreciated.
Season's over. I appreciate you too, man. Take care, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great big fella. Hit the big fella emoji in the chat. If you're a channel member, which if you want to be a channel member, you'll get a raffle ticket with your name on it to get entered into the bucket of champions. Well, we'll pick some winners, baby. Winner hat will be gifted. The Rodgers jersey will be raffled. The Jet Super Bowl III replica ring will be raffled. Items from my merch store and much more. Oh, I didn't even mention the Jet Mini helmet. That's the grand prize. This will be sent your way. D-Rob, Vrabel to New England lock now. We have to get Flores. I wouldn't go lock. I think it's unlikely, though. Flores is very high on my list. I agree. More of your calls right now. A lot of people want in on the conversation. And I think what we need to do right now is get an up-close and personal perspective on today's game.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. They call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit. Hey, Jake.
What's up, David?
Every time I'm on, I'm in my heart, I'm thinking, I hope I get everything out right. Um, just a couple of things, and then I'd like to make a comment on your show.
I love the hat, by the way, David. I just want you to know.
I love this hat. I think I had told you back in my day, we didn't have hats like this. I mean, you had to work the bill and everything, but I love it, to be quite honest with you.
I appreciate it. I'm glad you have it.
Thank you. And first of all, the hamburger, one of my favorite callers. I know he was talking the other day. You had gotten him tickets, hopefully to take his father to the game, and he said it just depends on how he feels, and I hope that had happened. And as far as today's game goes, I don't ever root for the Jets to lose. I think it was a super bonus that Rodgers had a good game. And my thing was I was hoping he would get that, 500th touchdown. And to Tyler Conklin, I mean, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I mean, I'm not good with big words, but a consummate professional. So that was all good. And I'm sort of having a feeling that Rodgers is going to retire. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm just glad he came to the Jets.
Look, it didn't work, but I appreciate him trying to turn it around, and he wanted to be here. And it just the injury last year, it really ruined everything, because I truly believe if they underachieved last year, they'd have a different coach this year. And I really do think with the right coach, there was enough talent on this team to at least be in the playoffs this year. I really still do believe that.
Totally agree. I totally, I'm not an expert, but I totally agree with you. And on your show, I would like to say to your listeners, if you're a diehard Jet fan, the Jake Asman show is a must. I mean, join, subscribe to the show, subscribe to the Discord, hit the like buttons and whatever else you can do. And there was something else I was going to add in there. Anyway, and don't be afraid to call in if you're male or female. I have a sneaky feeling, Jake, that there's a lot of people that would love to call in and give it a try. Hey, I did it. Jake makes you feel comfortable. And, if you're a diehard Jet fan, let's go along for the ride.
David, you're the man. I'm glad you're a regular caller now. And I'm telling you, you're going to do some damage in March and as Maniac Madness. I mean, you're making a run for the whole thing.
Just glad to be part of your show, Jake.
David, you're the best. Thank you for everything, and I appreciate your support, my friend. Go Jets.
I got my Iron Uji. I hope you like my Jets take. They call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
David, you're the man. Good take there. How about a 5 spot of memberships that have been gifted by 25? Free stuff for all.
Free stuff.
If you got a membership, you thank 25. Jets Johnny is an Asmaniac for 9 months. Not the season we wanted, but the show never disappoints. You're the man, Jake. Johnny, great to meet you in person this year at the Halloween game season. The worst ever, but at least that night was fun. At least the Asmaniac group outing event this year went well. Saw a win. 25 with a super chat. Wish we had David T at safety. He'd never take his eye off the ball. You're right. You can only hope the Jets players have that X-ray vision that David T brings to us. All right, more of your calls right now. A lot of people on hold, so I'm going to try to get to as many as we can here. We're an hour and 9 minutes into this bad boy. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do so. Many of you will check out for a while, but I do this every day. So please click that subscribe button and hit the like button. It helps the channel grow and helps me be employed. Let's say hello to Wilson, who's up next. What's up, Wilson?
Hey, Jake. I met you at the rally last year.
The rally.
And,
What rally was I at?
I wouldn't say it was a rally. It was more like a meetup.
Oh, on Long Island, right? You came to the
Yep.
Hicksville event. Yep, I remember.
And you signed a paper for me.
Yes,
Thank
you
you
wanted
so
me.
much for that.
Well, you wanted me to sign your Quinnen Williams jersey, right?
Williams
That was you,
jersey,
and I
yep.
refused to do it. I go, I'm not ruining a Quinnen Williams jersey by putting a Jake Asman signature on it. I refused to do it, and I'm glad that you were able to come out that night. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I got some questions for you.
Yes, sir. What do you got?
So, how do you think that the coaching for the Jets are this year?
I thought they were terrible. I thought you could have done a better job.
Yeah, like what specifically? Like the getting rid of our head coach and then replacing him, or our offense?
Yeah, well, that's where it
defense?
started with Saleh. I mean, look, I don't want to make it seem like Saleh was a great coach, but the defense took a complete nosedive without him. And Ulbrich, I don't think was equipped to do DC and head coach. I think that was a huge issue. I also think, like the actual just coaching in general, like with Saleh, they weren't ready to play against Denver as 9-point favorites at home that day. Like I thought that the fact that they weren't ready to play week 1 in hindsight was alarming with how much time they had to prepare for the Niners. They were not ready in games. And once they fired Saleh, the just situational football was abysmal. They were undisciplined. They led the NFL in penalties on defense. They were never seemingly prepared. They never made enough adjustments when teams would figure them out.
Yeah.
Like their only wins this year, if you think about it, were against the Patriots in a short week on Thursday night, the Texans on Thursday night, and the Texans aren't that great, but short week at home Thursday night, you're supposed to win. They beat an awful Jaguars team. They beat Snoop Huntley today. Like, where were the great wins for the Jets this year? They didn't exist because anytime they played a real coaching staff, they would lose.
So, how do you think about this game against the Dolphins?
How do I think about it, Wilson? I mean, look, I'm glad they won, I guess. I'm not upset they won, I guess is the way to word it, but it doesn't really do much for me. The Jets play their best football when the season's over, and it'd be nice to change that next year. Mother effing Chew has gifted a channel membership. Good call, Wilson. Appreciate it. You sound like you're a little underwater, though, so call on with no headphones next time.
Choo choo, mother effing choo.
I met Wilson at the Hicksville, Long Island summer party we did. Good call by Wilson there. Give him some love in the chat. Maki says, big fella, you were about to drop facts. The organization gave Rodgers too much power, but he showed his ass when given that power, especially early. I mean, he wasn't healthy. I mean, they were 2-1, and then he took a beating against the Broncos, and then what happened? So, I putting this all on Rodgers, I think is so lazy. I really do, man. Like, this fan base had Zach Wilson play quarterback for 3 years. Aaron Rodgers threw 28 touchdowns this year. Give me a break. Is it Rodgers' fault Zerline missed the amount of kicks he did? Is it Rodgers' fault the defense collapsed when he gave them the lead late against New England or Indianapolis or Miami? He's not blameless. Like, he didn't play well in the game I was at in London. The interception at the end was brutal. I'm not saying he's blameless, but my standard for Aaron was if he played average this year, this team is at least in the playoffs. I think he played average for most of this year. There were some high moments, some brutal moments. I thought he sucked last week against the Bills. But I just think we make way too much of putting it all on the quarterback. Mock says, thanks for what you do. Mock, we might disagree on Rodgers, but I appreciate your support. T Swizzle became a member. T Swizzle, you're in the raffle, baby. Let's go.
I need some of your mama's chicken soup.
Wait a second. Chicken soup? What are we talking about, right? We're talking about the Jets. So let's go to our next caller right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time.
Hey, Charles!
You'll never get my chicken soup recipe.
Hey, Charles!
I'm not saying that Lowski takes steroids.
I need some of it. Hey, Charles!
Who is that lovely lady?
Send it this way, Charles!
Charles? Charles? Charles Eugene M. Gorman. Charles, are you there? Chuck. Mr. Gorman. Mr. Gormani. Mr. Gorman. Mr. Gorman. Charles Eugene M. Gorman IV. Are you there, Charles? Hello. Call back, Charles. Call back.
Excuse me.
You're excused, Charles. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button. Comments, questions, super chats will cut the line. Please join my Patreon if you haven't. That's the best way to support me. Get in our Discord where the Jet conversation and conversation about the show and the Asmaniacs happens all the time. Plus, I've been lazy and I forgot to send Gator the list of names for the month of December. So if you want your name added in the intro, I'll give people 24 hours from right now to join the Patreon. It's just $5 a month. You sign up for the year, it's even less. You save 15%. You get 20% off all items in my merch store, jakeasman.com. You get bonus shows that are not on YouTube. You find out when the show starts before anyone. You find out about private listener events like our 30-person Knicks meetup on March 22nd. The Asmaniacs have a private section at the Garden, and we're watching the Knicks game all together. That was exclusive for Patreon folks. That filled up immediately. All that and more. Matthias with a super chat. Jake, my bad for being negative. I'm just defeated. I hope Alan's wrong. Thank you for everything that you do. Can't wait for the Knicks game. I mean, if you're negative about the Jets the last 14 years, you're going to be right. More times than not. That's the reality. If Rabel goes elsewhere, I'll be the first to tell you. I'm disappointed. I think he's the perfect fit for what the Jets need. But there's other good coaches out there. They have to get it right. Ladies and gentlemen, keep the super chats flowing. Let's get back to your calls right now. We couldn't hear from Gorman, but we do have another legend that is on the line right now that could talk all things Jets. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Lane Train.
Hi, how are you? Bruce Hall. That's good. Hello, Jake.
Hey, Lane.
What a great Jets game, I can tell you.
Yeah, look, they won. And the other team lost.
Yeah, I watched it.
What'd you think?
Was it, well, I mean, I guess, like, why now did they win? Why couldn't they do that in the regular season? Because they wanted to save it until now.
It would have been nice if the Jets played like this today much earlier, and then maybe they'd be playing next week.
Do you get Flores for next year, or do you get another coach?
I think Brian Flores would be a really good candidate for the Jets.
Brian
I definitely
Flores?
think they'll interview him. Yeah. I don't think he's a lock to get the job.
Because honestly, starting like on Tuesday, you start deciding that, like, do they have the first pick in the draft? Or do they pick? Oh.
The Jets pick's probably 7th.
Because, yeah, I mean, I was, like, wondering, like, now because you have like the Eagles, and then you have, I mean, wondering who goes to the playoffs now,
Mm-hmm. Well, the Jets won't be in the playoffs.
I wish they were, but,
No.
they couldn't make it that far. I mean, I watched the Giants game, and they just didn't have it.
They stink.
I knew they weren't going to win against the Eagles.
Yeah, it's better that they lost, though. At least they still are picking in the top 3.
Yeah, I hope I make it to the next game, though. That'd be nice.
Go
Meet
Knicks.
everybody. No, I mean, it'd be nice if was it March?
March 22nd, yeah.
I hope I go, but I don't know if I could make it.
You let us know, all right, Lane?
Okay. Oh, so anyway, honestly, I think that you got to pick somebody new for the Jets next year.
Have you thought about being the head coach, Lane? Would you coach the Jets if they asked you to?
Probably.
What would be your pump-up speech to the guys?
Listen, you have to do better. I think that going into 2026 or next year, you got to play better. You got to move the ball, and you got to see who's ready for the draft. If it's not Knoble, it could be maybe J.J. McCarthy or somebody else.
Lane, that's well said. I appreciate your insights as always.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, I don't know who else is out there that you could draft. A lot of names.
It's going to be a fascinating offseason. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lane Train.
Hi. Sorry, everybody. See you next call when we talk about sports again.
Appreciate you, Lane. Good call as always. 25 wanted to know what your favorite hobby is. So if you could respond in the chat to his question, please feel free. The great Rick Kent is on the line with a super chat. I wish the season would have gone better, but Jake, your show is always number one. Rick, thank you, my friend. Appreciate your support as always. I wish, too, this season wasn't the worst ever, but I do know this. We have the best community in sports. Duncan with an Asmaniac super chat. Will we hire a GM or head coach first? Which one should be first? If it's Vrabel, I'd hire him first. If it's not Vrabel, I think they do the GM first and then the coach. I think that's what's going to happen here. Ladies and gentlemen, he has privately messaged that he has figured out what went wrong with his mic. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Charles Eugene M. Gorman.
Hi, I'm Charles, and I'm going to talk about Spider-Man and movies and sports and video games and maybe hot chicks.
Hey, Charles.
Jake, my mic is working.
Yes, but your internet is bad.
Must be my. Oh, might be because of the weather.
You got to back up a little bit, too. You're too close to your face. We can't see your body. We need that Gorman body. Give the people what they want.
I'm actually glad the Jets won because show up today. I felt that really showed up on Miami's offense was the players in the league, if my memory serves me correctly.
Charles, what's up with your internet here? Are you on a potato phone?
No. I'm using.
Your internet is very smelly. You know what I mean?
Anyways,
Charles.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Charles, are you on dial-up? What is this? This is such a tease to the Asmaniacs. Last postgame show of the year, they expected a full Gorman call, not, potato phone Gorman.
What do you mean? I'm on a laptop.
Yeah, your internet stinks.
He stinks.
Jesus. Oh. What's happening, Charles? Charles. Folks,
yes?
It's just not meant to be. His internet's delayed. Charles, go get better Wi-Fi and call us back.
Hey, Charles! You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. Hey, Charles! I'm not saying that Glowski takes steroids. Give me some of it. Hey, Charles! Who is that lovely lady? Send it this way, Charles!
Man, that's tough. I mean, we want the full Gorman experience, and we couldn't get to work. I got a guy on the line, though, right now who I believe could save the show. Many people have speculated that he could be the #1 overall seed in the Asmaniac tournament in March. Ladies and gentlemen, for the final time on a postgame show this season, we say hello to.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course. Hi, Jake. How you doing?
Hello, Bob. How are you?
Yeah, we were watching the game. Do you really think Vrabel's going to the Patriots?
I think it's likely. I don't think it's as big of a lock as how everyone's assuming, but I do think he ends up there, yes.
Because me and Ted have a bet on it.
What's the bet?
That Ted say he's going to New England, but I say no.
Okay. So I guess we'll find out. So what's the bet? What happens if you win versus he wins?
I win the 20 if he doesn't go.
$20?
Yeah.
Oh, what a bet. Big money.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not rich like you are. So I was grumpy like you said.
Hold on, Bobby. I'm getting a call right now. It's on the money phone. Hello? Yeah, I got to call you back. I'm on the phone with Bobby Midnight. All right, thanks. Continue.
You know, remember you said I was grumpy today?
Yeah, you were. I tuned into part of your show. You were very grumpy. You were very grumpy to Jay Graves in particular. I was shocked.
I know. I said I hope she got better. That's all I said.
Yeah, but you were sarcastic. I could tell when you're lying or when
Well,
you're
I
doing your like
asked her to
dismissive
come on
tone.
the- I asked her to come on the show. She was on the other show this morning.
Yeah, well, it sounded like you were offended she didn't come on your show.
I cried. Jenergy came on the show today.
Nice. Love Jenergy.
And my friend Kurt from Queens came on where we used to live. He came on my
Ooh.
show for the first time today, too.
I see.
Yeah, I like that. And then I ended up having a 5 hour, 20-hour show today.
Well, I don't like hearing this because your energy on this call is very low. I want energetic Bobby Midnight.
I
And instead,
know, I
you're
was
falling
waiting-
asleep.
I'm falling asleep, yeah.
Stop going live for 8 hours a day. And remember that you still have a role on this show. All right? You're trying to be
Yeah.
the Asmaniac winner. We need your energy levels these next 3 months as you compete in Asmaniac Madness.
Yeah, but they did Charles and Lane. They're going to win, so let them have it. That's fine.
Wow. Let them have it. All right.
Well, they're good
It's up for the
kids,
people to
good
decide
guys.
on.
Yeah,
People
but
are going to vote.
good guys. I hope you don't have Nutcohead on next because I'm off now.
Who?
Your best friend over there.
Who's my best friend?
You know, the one that you love. He makes good quotes. And if you put him on, I'm
Who? I don't know who you're talking about. You got to speak up.
You Beast Breaker 666. You know, I did not talk.
Why not? You're not a fan of his?
No, I'm not. If you put him on, I'm leaving right away.
Hey, what's up, Beast? How are you?
Wow, we
Hold on. Oh, Bobby, your thoughts on having a civil conversation with the Beast?
I don't want. I've already bounced him from my show. Well, you have a good night, Jake. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
That's it? You're done? Wow, you're scared of Beast Breaker. The great Bobby Midnight.
No, I'm not scared. I'm sick of him. So
All right.
I get a headache when I listen to him. Have
Okay.
a good night, Jake. I love you.
Can
I
you go to
will
Can you
see
go to bed? You got to get some sleep. You have no energy. All right, go get
Yeah.
some sleep.
Yeah, I will go sleep.
All right, go to bed. I mean, geez, no energy midnight there. Bobby V-Man is what I'm calling him. He was half asleep on the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have right now is an unbelievable gesture by T-Swizzle. Holy bleep. Jake, you are a therapist to us all this season. Here's part of my estate. The Jets finally killed me. In the words of Rex, let's all go get a snack. Love you, man. T-Swizzle, I can't thank you enough for this super chat. Thank you, man. These are therapy sessions for me, too. It's sad. But, you know, this platform is for the fans, by the fans, as my guy CP would say about his Knicks channel. And I'll say that about this channel. You know, we do the most amount of content out of any channel out there, most amount of calls, all that. So I appreciate it. And thank you for the super chat, man. You did not have to do a $200 super chat. So this is unreal. And since you sent it in, I'm giving you this.
Get your ass off my super chats. Some of these are gifted memberships too.
Hey.
The hell with it.
I'll tell you what, the Jets basically have killed me too, T-Swizzle. I can never be excited about another season. I'll be hopeful, but I'll never go in confident like I was these last 2 years. Unreal. Jets Carpetbagger, 20 for the win. Go Jets. Carpetbagger, you were in our raffle with that super chat right there. And T-Swizzle, so are you. Good God. I got to do math, but that is a lot of entries. This is going to be the biggest raffle we have ever done. I'm going to add some more prizes to it too because we just got so much entries now. Joe the Jet, Aaron Glenn looking good right now. I mean, we're not judging his candidacy based on one game. I mean, but I understand your point. Looks like we got halftime here. Let's see. The Lions, Goff going to call timeout with 3 seconds. Campbell, timeout. There it is with 3. Kick the field goal. Should be 10-6 going to the half. We'll see. Mother effing chew. Does Butter Breaker have C cups? I could ask him that real quick. Beast Breaker, do you have C cups?
What kind of retarded garbage is that?
Whoa, don't use that language around here, Beast Breaker. Family show.
Today, that game was great. Aaron Rodgers threw for his 500th touchdown. That was the greatest game I ever seen. And to next year, to everybody, let me just say this one time for everybody. It's only temporary. Mike Vrabel will be coming to New York. You gotta give it time. You're all jumping the gun. You're not thinking with clear thinking. Use mathematical science and think with your head, not with your ass. This is why we tell you guys, learn to listen a little bit, read the papers a little more. You got the New York Post, you got the New York Times. Let's try and hope for the best. If we don't get Mike, we get Rex, and we get one more choice and a perfect defensive coordinator with balls of steel. And let me just say this for Greg Zuerlein. It looked like he crapped the bed and he didn't last long. So I think it's time to say, see ya.
Hey, question for you, Beastbreaker. Tom Ace wants to know, can you pick your nose with your sausage link finger?
I'm not here to talk garbage, Sonny boy. This is football, not Jerry Springer, you moron. Now pay attention and learn.
Rick Kent is calling you Melonhead. Would you want to respond?
Melonhead this. Now, this is what I'm going to say again. The offensive line and the defensive line look like they crapped the bed this year, and Rodgers did very well. I'm going to...
B-Haas is saying that your room smells crazy, Beastbreaker. Does it smell bad?
What in God's name is this? What kind of stupid questions are you going to throw here? Well, first of all,
I'm just reading the chat. These are not my questions.
I'm trying to be... guys, listen to me wisely. This is football. I am in a great mood. The Jets won. You guys should be happy and at least explode.
Monkey Man wants to know, what did you eat for dinner, Beast?
I was Robert E. Lemery. I'd be saying, get your head out of the toilet. The Jets did great. Brian Flores, I'm not too sure on him.
I have a bunch of oil stains on your shirt, Beast. What is this I'm hearing about oil stains?
I'm not going to talk this crap right now. I'm trying to talk football here.
Gio wants to know if you take a shower. You shower, correct?
Excuse me.
Hygiene.
Sweetheart, I shower every day. I look like a young Jean-Claude Van Damme and a young Steven Seagal. So please, next question. Move along with the next question. Now,
25 wants to know, why are you wearing sunglasses in your attic?
Hey, stars like me come once in a lifetime. And to 25, you need to get your act together, kid. This is football I'm trying to explain here. Open your ears and pay attention. This is a classroom, not some kind of a dead weight servant shit. Now, please. Now, I'm going to explain this out loud and clear. The defense, I don't know what the heck they were thinking. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching this and going, what the hell? I'm like, where was this? Excuse me? Because you all... Oh, Jesus H. Christ. This is more stupid than I thought. You know, I'm trying to make points loud and clear here for football that we did great today. Hey, enough with the farting. Enough is enough. If you're gonna do such kind of crap like this, I've been a Jets guy 26 years. Now I'm gonna say this loud and clear for everybody. The defensive line did great today, but unfortunately, it's too late. Where was it at the last 6-7 games? Oh, yeah, that's right. Completely a bunch of farts because. All we got is nobodies that don't want to do their job and can't cut the cheese. And Woody's a great guy and a great spender, but this Robert Kraft guy, he looks like he may be a cheapskate, but you know what? He's old, but unfortunately, it's called, dude, you're not in the same ballpark as me.
Chef Kevin wrote in that you look like you swallowed Steven Seagal. Would you want to respond to him?
Yep. To this jerk here, I'm not going to tell you again. I'm talking football here. This is what we look at it next year. If we get Mike Vrabel, okay. But here's the thing we need to look at too. Where do you put him? Give him the GM role. And then here's what we do next. We hire the king, Rex Ryan, but Ron Rivera, no. He's great. He was great as a Chicago Bear back in the 80s. But sorry, no. It's called, nah. You've had your time, you're fun, you're done. We need someone with beef and talent and balls of steel, and at least some knuckles, knuckles that grow. I don't want nobody. I don't want a nobody. I want somebody. I want real people. And when we get a defensive line, I'm gonna yell this once, and I'm gonna say it one time. Defense line. You need to get your heads out of your asses because when Rex comes up here, you're all going to get your balls reevaluated and you're going to listen and you're not going to bring some bullshit to this house. This house is ours.
Beast. Hey, Beast, real quick. Your thoughts on the comment on the screen here. I want to give you an opportunity to respond. It's a super chat.
Throw it, please. I got all day.
You see it on the screen there? Your eyes work? From
yes,
Bates
they
is My
do.
Hero? Yep.
Young Van more. Hey. Jean-Claude Van Damme was a great actor. Now, if you're going to insult his integrity, take a back seat. Now, back to the question. Now, this is what we look at right now. Offensive line.
Hey, I got some love from the chat too, Beast. Cincy Matt thinks you could be a #1 seed in Asmaniac Madness. What do you think?
Well, let me make some more points here. Offensive line. Get your ears open. When Rex...
Big fella writes, and I may be alone in this, but I'm appreciative of Beast trying to talk football without making a wrestling promo.
Boys, offensive line, you're all going to get your asses reevaluated when Rex gets down here. You're all going to not bring that drama queen bullshit to this field. We're going to play like champions. We're going to act like champions, and we're going to do it all over again, and we're going to learn from the basics. We're going to have Aaron Rodgers as our head coach.
Can you confirm that you're not George the Animal Steel? That's from Altoona.
George the Animal Steel? Really? How about learn something from Randy Savage? How about Jake Roberts? How about Terry Funk? Don't you guys ever think of them names? The legends that put wrestling on the map. Now let's get back to business here. Offensive line. You're all gonna grow some balls, and you're gonna learn to block that line. If we get a good quarterback, I'd like to see Josh Fields up here.
Hey, Beast, there's a guy on the line that wants to go toe to toe with you. You want the
yeah. Who?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a rumble that everyone's been waiting for.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
Oh, big ass.
This fucking moke. Look at this. This is the underrated Jamoke from the sewer. This guy looks like a bum from Connecticut or anywhere between South Jersey, Philadelphia, and also Rhode Island and Maryland combined. Sonny, you look like a garbage man that looks like you look like you could do a job for garbage man.
Fat piece of crap. Shut up. I'm not a kid. I'm older than you, jackass. Shut the fuck up. I had enough.
Dick, and get off my train.
On behalf of the Jake Asman Show, we apologize for the foul language.
Hey, Spanky.
Look at this.
Listen,
this guy looks like a clown from California. He looks like he fell out of the bus stop.
Because I'm going to come to New York and stick my foot up your ass, and all the salami is going to come out of
you.
All right?
Get out of here, you little jamoke.
I'm going to tell you something right now.
Go collect your garbage somewhere else.
One more time. He's my
I don't need to listen to some underrated jamoke like you.
Shut your mouth.
I don't need to listen to shit. Fuck off, you little monkey.
You speak.
Hey, get on your knees and pay homage to a king who has the game.
You look like Spanky from the Rascals, you meatball. Listen.
Yeah, and I got something you don't have, kid. You don't have the hot steel like I do, bad boy. You're a fat retard. In the words of our great friend from the movie Toughest Thunder.
On behalf of the Jake Asman Show, we apologize for the foul language.
Man, that escalated quickly, huh? Beast Breaker versus everybody again. I mean, the guy just wants to talk football, guys. I thought he makes some salient points. More of your super chats here. Jets Carpetbagger writes in, anyone seen Neil lately? I think Beast Breaker swallowed him. Damn. Cincy Matt did write that Beast Breaker was a #1 seed to him. Big fellow enjoyed the fact you're trying to talk football. So I see there were some pretty good points made by everyone involved there. Let's say hello right now to Devin, who's next. Hey, Devin.
Hey, Jake, a long-time listener of the show, first-time caller in. I don't know if I'll be able to follow up what just happened there on the show, but I just want to say you do a really, really good job at hosting this. I don't know of any other NFL team fan bases that host a show 5-6 days out of the week and dedicate their time. I really appreciate the stuff you do for the Jets fan base.
Thank you, Devin. I appreciate that. People like you are the reason why we're able to do it. Like, as bad as the Jets have been, the fact that this fan base still cares the way they do, I mean, it's amazing. And not many other fan bases you could do this, what I do with this show. It's like the Jets are one of the few you actually could talk about them year-round and actually make a living doing it, which is crazy.
Yeah. I do want to say this one thing. You know, the season being over, obviously it's not the season we wanted. First off, I do want to say I want Aaron Rodgers back. I'm wearing my Aaron Rodgers jersey. I thought it was a good victory overall today, but I was thinking a few weeks ago, I think it was after the Ram game, that there was rumblings I saw on X and stuff that potentially the Niners might look to potentially trade Kyle Shanahan and the coaching staff. Now, I know they've come out and said that they're not going to do that. They're going to plan on retaining them. Now, let's just say Woody Johnson decides that, hey, look, Aaron Rodgers is just not going to come back, and we haven't hired a coach yet. I don't think that would happen this soon in the offseason, but I came up with this kind of crazy theory or a situation that could potentially unravel as a potential trade between the Jets and the 49ers. And potentially, let's say we trade Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and a couple of draft picks to the 49ers for Kyle Shanahan and the coaching staff and Brock Purdy to come over here to the Jets. I think that would be a quite interesting trade, especially given the history with that coaching staff, that they're proven in the NFL. I know they haven't gotten over the hump and winning a Super Bowl. They had to play the Chiefs twice in the Super Bowl, but I think it would be quite interesting to see if something like that were to unfold, because it just kind of feels like in San Francisco, there's just that uncertainty that's going on down there. I don't know. It just kind of feels weird.
It feels like impossible to picture them moving on from Shanahan. I don't even want to like present that as a possibility. There's no way. I just don't see it. They've already said he's coming back. They've had one down year. They were just in the Super Bowl a year ago. Like, they had a ton of injuries this year. McCaffrey was never right. I mean, Trent Williams missed time. Ayuk tore his ACL. Like, they were never right this year. It happens. They had a down year. Like, I don't see any scenario that happens. Now, if Tomlin's available, if Kevin O'Connell, that story today, which I think is BS, like, you could try, like, call the Niners, but I don't see it happening. I would give up my entire draft to try and do it, but it's not going to happen.
One thing, too, with Vrabel, I don't think that he's guaranteed to going to hey, I respect that Super Bowl 53 Cup. I live here in Atlanta, so.
Good eye by you. Wow.
Yeah. That was a good time when they were down here a few years ago, and I'm glad it's coming back. But one thing about Vrabel, you mentioned earlier that the Patriots I think it was on the show, the Patriots are a little bit historically cheap with a lot of things. I don't think Vrabel's out of the picture for the Jets yet, given kind of how things unraveled there in New England. I don't know. I just feel like that even though that Vrabel was a Belichick player, I still feel like that's like the Belichick era kind of because it's still, look, Gerard Mayo was the replacement for Bill Belichick, and now you have another Patriots person coming in, except it was a player under the Belichick era. I just think Vrabel's not out of the picture for the Jets yet.
I agree. I think he's likely there. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. Kraft is cheap. I don't know how Vrabel feels about their general manager there. And, like, you know, the Jets have a lot of money and could give him a GM pick if that's what they want to do. So I think it's unlikely, but I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. I'm just not banking on it anymore. Like, I wouldn't expect it. I felt like if that job didn't open, I think the Jets had a legit chance to get him. Now I'm no longer confident in that.
Yeah, I don't feel that confident either, but hey, never say never. So we'll see what happens. Hey, I appreciate it, Jake. Thank you for taking my call, and I'll be making sure and try to call in more in the off season.
Well, Devin, great first call. Call back anytime. Appreciate your support and the kind words, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Devin checking in, getting us back on track. That's what it's all about. Bates is my hero. I cannot read your super chat on the air, but I appreciate the contribution. Mock writes in, Jake is the Eddie Hearn of YouTube. I'm dead. Look, find me a YouTuber that's a better promoter than me. All right. Call me Eddie Hearn. All right. Call me Dana White. Call me Vince McMahon. Yeah. I mean, we create stars on this show. All right. Speaking of stars, they say the third time is the charm, right? We're going to find out.
You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. I'm not saying that those takes steroids. Need some of it. Hey, Charles. Who is that lovely lady? Send it this way, Charles.
Hey Jake, how are you? You see me? You hear me better now?
Oh, we see you. Are you like holding the phone David T style? Did he inspire you, Charles?
Nah, just usually hold it like this so people can get a better angle at me.
Oh,
Look,
you're
I'm
showing
happy
off
the
that
Jets won.
sexiness, Charles. I love it.
Thank you. I'm happy the Jets won simply because I think Miami came in flat, mostly on offense.
You're
the
wearing
only
a shirt
person
though, right? I just want to clarify.
I'm wearing clothes, yes.
Okay, good. Just want family show.
Devon Achane looked good for the Dolphins, but other than that, the other players really suck, especially Tyreek Hill, who I think is an absolute moron for leaving the Chiefs for the Dolphins. People, I think, are sometimes have their eyes bigger than their stomach, especially when it comes to fame and fortune. As for the next 2025, while I'm open, while I prefer to move on from Rodgers, I would be upset if they kept him, if the new regime chooses to keep Aaron Rodgers. I personally would rather move on from him and have Tyrod and Justin Fields compete for the starting job. But as for this season, yeah, it's been terrible. I think the one thing that it wasn't just the players that really held this team back, it was the coaching staff as a whole. The coaching staff was really abysmal. The coaching within the past 3 years under Robert Saleh and, of course, now Jeff Ulbrich have been atrocious and abysmal. The lack of discipline, the lack of accountability and leadership has been atrocious.
Rick Kent wants to know, when are you going to shave that scruffy beard of yours?
When I get a chance to. I see it, Rick Kent.
Jojo just spent $20 to say, let's go, Charles, #1 seed in the Asmaniac Madness tournament this March. Wow. Your thoughts?
It's interesting. At first, I originally didn't want to watch the Jet game today, but I said, you know what? I've been watching football all day. I might as well watch it. And Aaron Rodgers put up a great performance. I mean, he threw for the third most passing yards and touchdown passes in a single season in Jets franchise history. What pisses me off, though, is that in certain plays, they don't stick to the run. Like when they kicked that field goal, 20-yard field goal, there was a play I felt they should have ran the football.
Hold on one
with Brandon
second,
Allen.
Charles. I have to defend your honor here. Joe M. just wrote in, I will quit watching if this guy is the #1 seed. I want to make something very clear. I am not involved in the seeding for the tournament. The committee will do their job, and I will respect whatever the committee does. But if you think for a second the committee would be wrong to make my guy Charles Gorman a #1 seed, Joe, all right, then you don't know what you're talking about. And if you're going to quit watching, if that happens, then guess what? I'll do it for you. See ya.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
We'll see you in 24 hours, all right? Charles Gorman is one of our greatest callers, and if he's a 1 seed in the tournament, I respect the committee's decision. Anyway,
Well,
Charles,
if Joe M
continue.
has a problem with me, he can go make like a tree and leave.
Yeah.
He can unsubscribe from your channel and go somewhere else where they tolerate his baloney.
Hell yeah.
The defense played well today. I mean, obviously, Will McDonald, I thought, had a full sack today. That strip sack was beautiful. Kinlaw had a strip sack. The Jets got 3 sacks today, but honestly, they should have had more. Should have, I thought, consistently generated more pressure. But I'm glad they forced 4 takeaways, something I think that's the most they enforced all season in a single game.
They save their best football for when it doesn't matter. Nobody does Week 18 like the New York Jets.
Yeah, that's the pain in the ass of being a Jet fan. You expect them to win, they lose, and when you think they're going to lose, they win. That's the bitch of being excuse my language, that's the pain in the ass of being a Jet fan.
No, it's okay, Charles. You're excused.
Thank you.
What did you have for dinner tonight?
I had ziti and pork loin.
Ziti and pork loin, really?
Yeah,
It sounds delicious.
yeah, it was. It was delicious.
What was better, the ziti or the pork loin?
They were both good.
You can't pick one?
Maybe the ziti because it
Okay.
had like ricotta, mozzarella cheese, and some penne.
Oscar wants to know, is there any update on the lovely lady who's a Patriots fan that works as a waitress at your local restaurant?
Oh, you mean Mercedes at Pino's? I think she's in a relationship right now.
Mercedes. Whoa. Where does she?
I think she's in a relationship right now.
How do you know?
She told me.
Oh,
She told me she goes both ways.
Okay, now we got to explore this. When you say she goes both ways, what exactly does that mean? Really?
That's what the mother told me. Well, that's what she told me. And
Her mom told you that, or she told you that?
Mercedes herself told me that.
Now, how is her mom involved in this? Are we really getting freaky here?
I met her. Wow. I met her mom. I'm friendly with her mom. She's a very nice woman.
Charles, you got more game than I thought. You dog. Let's
Not
go.
like that, you meatball.
Whoa. What am I supposed to think?
I've had friendly conversations with her mom. I've had dinner. I've had.
It sounds like they've been very friendly.
Yes, but nothing happened between us.
You sure?
Yes.
Hey, congrats on the sex.
I met her mom. She goes to Pino's once in a blue moon, once about a few months. She's a very nice woman. She usually comes in with a friend or with family members or with her nieces or nephews or whatever. She's a very nice woman. I've had friendly conversations with her. She and I get along very well. And
it sounds like there's a connection here, no? It sounds like there's a connection here between you and her mom.
Well, we're friendly, We're very friendly. Mercedes is a very lovely woman.
Lovely lady?
Yes.
Now, I see you added the nickname, the MILF Hunter, underneath your name there. Is this true?
Oh, my God. That's probably you and Gator.
No, stop it.
There we go.
Oh.
I'm trying to say is that I tried. There was one point where I tried to ask her out. She said she was already in a relationship, and I'm like, okay.
But you said she plays both sides of the ball.
Yeah, she plays both sides of the same coin.
So I feel like you're still in there potentially. You could be in there like swimwear.
I don't think she's into open relationships. I think she's into closed relationships, if that's the proper term to use.
Okay. We don't know that, though. I feel like we got to do some more research here.
Well, I'm not going to force the issue.
No. You just gotta just have a good at bat. Try and get a pitch you could hit and do some damage.
I appreciate that. You can't.
My brother has opined. Can we call her Otani?
No.
No. Okay.
Philly Noodles asked me if I would dress up as a lady to date her. No, I would not. I would probably be petrified. I mean, no disrespect to transgenders or transsexuals or whatever, but I'm not the type of guy that likes to dress up as a woman.
John writes in, Charles is goated. By the way, I hope that guy, John M., I think it was his name, not to be confused with this John. I hope he's in the hole watching this call, realizing why Charles Gorman is a legit chance to be not just a 1 seed, but I believe he has a legit chance to be the #1 overall seed in Asmaniac Madness this March, which is going to be the biggest thing we've ever done as a channel on this show.
I appreciate that. Look, I'm trying to keep my volume in because my mother's trying to sleep. She may be going to work tomorrow. So,
what about Dennis?
He's not coming home till like midnight.
He's working late tonight.
Yes.
Nate writes in, I wish we were talking about our playoff game next week instead of transsexuals with Charles.
Well, that's what the Jets do, Nate. They screw you over. If there's one thing you can always count on the Jets, they can always count to screw you over.
That's true. But I'll tell you what. It's I'm not celebrating this, but if there ever was such thing as like a consolation prize, this call is definitely easing some of the sting of this nightmare season. Not all of it, not even close, but I am getting enjoyment out of hearing you talk on the show, Charles. I want you to know that.
I try my best to try to talk as much football as I possibly can. I know I say a lot. My apologies.
Do they call your dad Dennis Midnight because he's working till midnight?
No. They don't call him that at all.
JoJo says you're the number one for him, or he or she. I don't know if JoJo is male or female, but JoJo, number one, Charles Gorman. Your thoughts, Charles?
I appreciate that, JoJo. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do that if you're a big fan of me. I don't know if he or she is. Or they.
Jets A30 wants to know, do you have a hot mom?
Why would you ask me that?
I didn't ask you that. I just read the chat.
I'm talking to the person that asked me the question.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
I'll say my mom. I love my mom, even though she drives me nuts from time to time. And I do think my mom's a pretty woman, but to say that I have a hot mom, that's kind of a disrespectful thing to say. My mom's happily married to my father for about 35 years, excuse me. They've been together 36, married for 35.
Tom is writes in, his mom is a 10. Is this true?
No comment.
Okay. Tom wants to know your opinion on Beastbreaker, who's become a new caller on the show the last few days.
I get it. He's passionate, but I think he can be very rude when it comes to the other callers.
I think that's a fair take.
I'm not a big Rex Ryan fan. And let me tell you a story. His first 2 years, I didn't care about the trash talking, but the last 4 really made me lose a lot of respect for Rex Ryan. Not much as a person, but as a head coach. And what he did for Buffalo, I know Buffalo's their division rival, but I thought what he did with Buffalo was disgraceful.
Monkey Man wants to know, Charles, would you send Beastbreaker your chicken noodle soup?
No. If he continues to act rude to the other callers, I wouldn't send him anything.
I see. Now, as far as Rex goes, do you think the fact that he's considered by many to be sexy Rexy will help his candidacy?
Well, he lost a lot of weight. That's why they call him.
Oh, yeah. You know what time it is. You tried to throw him away, but this man's coming back. Sometimes he's fat or thin. That waistband makes him slim. He's got the fix you need. They call him sexy Rexy.
Fuck Gruden, he's no Jet. I'm here to crack some skulls. I'll turn these boys to men. This team is stacked with pros. Hire me, it won't break your purse. I'm here to break the curse. They call me sexy Rexy. Fuck all you naysayers.
Ooh, sexy. Ooh, he's sexy Rexy. Sexy. He's sexy Rexy. Sexy. He's sexy Rexy. Sexy. He's sexy Rexy.
Any thoughts on that?
I think he was I'm not saying he was the number one cause of the decline, but he was a pretty big contributor to it. I think, he hasn't been in the NFL.
My dad writes in, what if Rex will be a free spokesman for your soup line?
I don't need a spokesperson for my soup line, thank you, but I appreciate the offer.
You wouldn't take Rex Ryan as your spokesperson for your soup?
I would take Saquon Barkley over Rex Ryan.
You would take why? Saquon doesn't even play for any of the New York teams.
He used to.
Yeah,
I don't care.
And?
I don't care.
He plays for a Philadelphia team. F Philly.
I don't hate Philly as much as I hate Boston.
Jersey Jet says Charles acts like he was born in the 50s.
What do you mean I act like I was born in the 50s?
You have an older
Look.
soul, I believe, is what Jersey Jet's referring
Well, I
to.
was raised by older souls. What do you expect?
I think we all were raised by older souls, no?
Yes.
Like when you're born, the people raising you are all naturally older than you.
Yes. But look, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I wouldn't be necessarily against Rex being a spokesperson if I was to have a soup line, but I would rather have people that I have a lot more respect, like maybe Saquon, who I know plays for a Philly team, but they're in the tri-state area.
Gary is questioning your business sense. He says Barkley isn't available, bro. Rex is take Rex. This is horrible business decision.
Isn't available.
Yeah, I mean Rex Ryan is offering to be a spokesperson for your soup line, and you're not taking it. I agree with Gary, which is rare that I agree with Gary on anything, but this is true.
Fine, I'll take Rex.
All right, that's pretty good. Tom A says Charles will hold out for better options. He's a businessman. I don't think there's better options out there, Tom. He's got Rex Ryan speaking for his soup. Where are you finding a better spokesperson?
Actually, a big mouth.
Yeah, and guess what? He's great on TV. That's perfect for your advertising. Rick Kent says, hey, now, I was born in the 50s, and I don't act like Charles.
I thought you were... Really? Wow. What year in the 50s, Rick?
Are you calling Rick old?
No, but he said Rick Kent said he was born in the 50s.
Yeah, he could have been born in 59 for all we know.
My mother was born in 57. My father was born in 58.
Charles, you see the question on the screen there? Your thoughts?
I haven't tried pasta fagioli, but I love chicken soup.
All right. Craig says, hey, Jake, thanks for today. We'll call him soon. Craig, I'm glad you had a good time at the game. Craig was one of the listeners we sent tickets to. I believe Craig took his son or daughter, I forget. But they had a great time. So thank you to once again everyone who
Speaking of
donated
going
tickets.
to the game, huge shout out to Nick Shine. He went to the game today, but left at halftime because of how cold it was. He offered me to go to the. He offered if I was willing to go, if I wanted to go to the game.
I sent them extra tickets for you.
I asked my parents about it, and we talked. We said no because of the weather, and the weather was really bad today.
It was cold.
Oh, it was extremely cold.
Also, how about Nick Shine leaving at halftime? What a fake fan. What's up with that? Come on, Nick. Wear layers. Show up. You know what you're signing up for.
I never had chunky soup.
Oscar wants to know, Charles, have you had any luck with any new job opportunities? Has anything opened up for you?
Nothing has opened up for me.
All right, well, let's keep working. You did have a job offer in Caldwell, but that was too far.
Yeah, that was too far, yeah.
Shout out to Chef Kevin again for that. That was an awesome gesture. T Swizzle wants to know, are you in boxers, bro? And T Swizzle earlier contributed a $200 super chat, Charles. Great dude.
Am I in boxers? Yeah, I'm in boxers.
Are you?
You really want me to show people my boxers?
No, Charles. This is YouTube, not a color.
I know what it is,
YouTube.
Jake. I know what you mean, Jake. Yes, I am wearing boxers underneath my pants.
All right, tidy whities or what brand?
It's funny. I didn't even know. I haven't heard that term. It's so fucking long. Excuse my language.
Tidy whities?
I used to hear that shit a lot when I was in middle school. Oh, this kid wears tidy whities while everyone was wearing boxers and shit. Spraying with Axe body spray, putting on Old Spice deodorant.
Hell yeah.
I remember one time a kid sprayed me in the chest with it and I was gagging like hell.
I mean, Axe could do that to you.
Yeah.
All right, so what brand of underwear are you wearing?
It's boxers.
Yeah, but what
brand?
Yeah, Fruit of the Loom, Hanes, Calvin Klein, Nike, Adidas. Maybe you're wearing a G-string.
I'm not wearing a G-string. Get out of here.
I'm just asking. I can't see.
I think it's most likely Hanes, but I could be wrong.
How do you not know? You gonna answer my question or just look at the chat?
I'm thinking. It could be Fruit by the Loom. I think it's, I think it's Hanes.
I have an idea. Here's how we can figure this out. Why don't you go into your dresser and you look at what underwear you have and see what brand it is?
I have Champions boxers. I have Hanes boxers. I have a bit of both.
All right, so it's a combination of one of the other folks. Someone did suggest that you show it off on the show to help the 4% female demo, but I don't know if we want to go there, Charles.
I'm not doing that, no.
We'll save that for the Gorman show. All right. Taking care of business claims you saw the reflection of a G-string. Would you like to put to bed the G-string allegations?
I'm just looking at some of the comments. They're pretty funny. I'm not wearing a G-string. If I was wearing a G-string, I think my nuts would be hurting.
It is possible.
I know you got through a lot of...
25 writes in any Iron Man undies. What about like Superman pajamas? Batman.
I wish I
you're a
had
comic
them,
book
but
guy.
it's funny. I have a bunch of superhero T-shirts, but no pajamas. No superhero pajamas. So no.
Oscar says, Jake, can we do an entire 2-hour show with Charles? That might be an off-season conversation. Charles, would you want to co-host an entire show with me where we'll talk Jets and we'll talk about everything else that we talk about?
Depends on how you feel, Jake. It's your show, not mine.
I'd love to do it. I just I want to make sure that you're available to do it.
Well, it depends on you, Jake. But if you're up to it, I'll be fun to do it.
I can tell you, I am definitely up to it, and there's 570 people in here right now that are enjoying this, so I think we got to make it happen.
Nate, I think you mean Captain Underpants, not Captain Underwear.
Tom Ace writes in, I'm getting Charles a pair of Batman and Superman undies. Tom, let me know how much that costs, and I'll go in on that with you. All right, let's do it.
Anyways, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna probably watch the rest of the Vikings and Lions game. Which is what, 10-6 now?
I believe, Charles, the game is 10-9 right now in the third quarter.
Wow, Vikings are kicking field goals instead of scoring touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
All right, have a good day, guys. I'll see you all another time.
Hey, Charles, before you go, I just have this message for you, all right? Just because there's a goalie doesn't mean you can't score. Have a good night, Charles.
You too.
Hi, I'm Charles, and I'm going to talk about Spider-Man and movies and sports and video games and maybe hot chicks.
Charles, you're the man. I hope Joe M. in Stupid Town, the whole, wherever he's at, enjoyed that one. I got a couple super chats I want to get caught up on. Big Fella writes in, McDaniel and Greer announced back. I didn't think McDaniel would be fired or Greer. I'm not surprised. They could use the Tua injury as a reason why they went 9-8. But here's the problem. He's always hurt. He's going to get hurt again next year. He's not playing. Tua in his career averages 13.5 starts per season. You can't rely on him. And when he does play, he's good, not great. So it's infuriating how bad the Jets were, that they finished 3 wins behind this Dolphins team. It's a joke. Aaron says, when should the Jets confirm a GM so we get a head coach? Well, they're going to talk with GM candidates that are with teams right now. So it's going to take time, folks. You're not going to have, I don't think, anyone hired till January 15th at the earliest. Get ready for a lot of rumors and different reports of speculation. Big Fella, any thoughts on the Joy Taylor controversy? Well, it's not really her controversy. It's Skip Bayless in the lawsuit, and she's named in it. I'm not opining on this publicly. No, thank you, Big Fella. I have no. You know what? I have many thoughts, of which I will not share on this platform. But I appreciate the super chat. C with a super chat for us. Jay, thank you for my therapy session. Appreciate you Pay Garrett tomorrow. Hopefully better times ahead. See, thank you. I do believe Garrett Wilson will be extended this offseason. I really do believe that. And if he's not, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's a Jet. He should be a Jet. And hopefully better times ahead. I mean, hard to be worse than this, right? I mean, it's hard to be worse than these last 2 years. At the bare minimum, no matter what happens going into next year, the expectations are going to be way lower, and they should be. Ralph with a super chat. Hire an offensive head coach. Bring back AR for 1 season. Draft Jackson Dart mid-round. He's going to be special. I don't know about Jackson Dart. Maybe. I mean, if they took him on day 2, okay. Take a chance, fine. Bringing back Aaron for 1 more year is not up to one thing that has to happen. It's a lot of things. Coach and GM have to want him. He's got to take a significant pay cut. And he's got to be willing to learn a new offense. That's a lot. He's going to be 41 going on 42 now. By the way, how about this game being as low scoring as it is? I really thought we'd get points tonight. Both these quarterbacks have turned it over. They've tight. I think they're a little anxious. Big moment. They know it's all on the line. Sam has not played great tonight. He's thrown 12 of 29 for 0 touchdowns, no picks. Goff has 2 picks tonight. The Lane Train with an excellent question here. Do the Jets bring back Woody Johnson and Aaron Rodgers and Boosie Hall and Garrett Williams and Will McDonald? Woody, I think, will definitely be back, Lane. Aaron, I'm not sure. Boosie, I think, is gone. Garrett Williams is no longer on the Jets. He died in a tragic plane accident. I don't know if you saw this. And then Will McDonald will be back, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you haven't already. And if you haven't, after what you've gotten tonight, what are you waiting for? What a show. If you want a entry into our raffle, once again, the grand prize, the replica, Joe Willie Namath, Super Bowl III, Ring of Champions, the Jet winner hat, the Aaron Rodgers jersey, throwback jersey, I might add. It is a size large for those who have asked. It runs a little big, though, so if you're an XL, you're in luck. And the Jet Mini helmet, that and more, plus a Gustbuster umbrella, merch items, and more. Gift a membership for your chance to be in. Every $20 Super Chat or more, you're in as well. You get the $20 Super Chat, that's 5 tickets. You do the math. More of your calls right now. Philly Noodles is next. What's up, Philly?
Hey, what's up, man?
How we feeling?
Man, I gotta like dial it back. It's kind of crazy. Like AR, he's like leaving room for interpretation. 4 touchdowns on his way out of the season. It kind of makes you go, oh well. Whoever's
he still clearly can play. Like he's not the worst quarterback in the league. He's not what he was, but he's still one of the best 20 quarterbacks in the NFL. I think so.
He was mobile today. Like I was like, damn. I'm like, well, I mean, listen, again, now it puts more pressure on a regime coming in. Like, you see the landscape out there. If you're a regime, who do I bring in? Oh, I don't know, Justin Fields, right? Or do I roll with Aaron again? It's more the question about money, really, in the end, when it comes to the GMs and all that. I do want to say the special teams, they almost blundered a couple things. I mean, we got a kick in, but I don't know. Like Brent Boyer, like he's been awesome for years on end. This season, I don't know what happened. It fell apart, and I think maybe it's because they lost the gunner. What's his name to free agency? Who was there? Who was the captain? We lost him. I always forget his name. But I don't know, man. I feel good about a win, but I also feel like the circumstances didn't fall where we could have crept up to like the 3rd spot. But I think we would have moved up a little bit in the tankathon, but it's okay. I mean, beating the fucking Dolphins is always great. Can't go wrong with that. Period. End of story.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not a win that I'm like woohoo, but it's also like, all right, it didn't really cost them. It is what it is.
And it looked good. It was dominating. And then Ashton Davis, man, this guy to always
Mr. Week 18. He's Mr. Week 18. He did it last year too. I'm not falling for it.
He's always just like, you gotta keep me. Look what I just did. The last game you saw me. It's like, what is that? Like when you leave a lasting impression, he always does it on the last game of the season. He can't help himself. Jesus Christ. What was I gonna say? I don't know if anyone's called it. I said it in the Discord. Beastbreaker looks like Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, with a little bit of hair on the top of the head. That alien beast looking body. That's what he looks like. That guy. He's a little bit too much, man. His take on the old line though always pisses me off. Where he's like, they need a pink slip. I'm like, why do they need a pink slip? Like, they're not that bad. The defensive line needs some help. I mean, other than that, after that he just loses me, like, without a doubt. The guy's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. And Vrabel, I mean, that's got to be the talk we're all going to have with you probably for the next couple of weeks. Damn, New England, man, they just can't help themselves. Kraft, he stole Belichick from us. He's about to steal Vrabel. It's happening. There's no way you fired Mayo after 1 year if you're not going to switch over to something different. He wants to mustard it in the building. He wants to mustard on the beat. You know what I mean? He wants to change that team up, and bringing Vrabel would do it, period, end of story. I think that's going to be the move. How do you not go there, right? If you're Vrabel, like,
money and lack of power. I mean, the roster's not great. How does he feel about Drake May? We don't know. These are things he's going to consider. He's also going to consider other jobs too, besides just the Jets and the Patriots.
Yeah, it's too funny. Where somebody I think had made a call to you yesterday was like, oh, would they waste the money? Or I think you were explaining, would they waste like $80 million in staff and blah blah blah? Or somebody mentioned it. Yeah, well, yeah, they just did. They fired Mayo, so they don't care what they gave him. I mean, it's crap. He's got the money, so you could actually rebuild that team pretty strongly too. There's a lot of money that they have on cap if they had to, do what they got to do. I mean, Higgins can go there. Drake May. I mean, I fear that weird reality where they always stick it to us. Kraft can't help it. He just has to pull a move on the Jets. So I don't know, but yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Yes, sir.
it was a nightmare season, Philly. I'm just seeing some quotes here from Brees Hall. Said, quote, "It's hard for a team to win when your coach and GM get fired halfway through the season." I mean, the Salah firing was the worst possible thing ever. Horrible. I mean, the Jets got to get a real coach. There's talent here for them to be better and win. Unreal. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats. They will always cut the line. Trying to catch up on some quotes here. Lions just scored a touchdown here, so they have pulled in front. Unreal. C says, if a new head coach and GM want Aaron, no brainer to run it back. Look, if he takes a pay cut, wants to learn a new system, where are they finding a better quarterback? I'm just not going to be naive and say, yup, he's definitely back. Like, there's an argument just to move on altogether. I think it depends on who the coach is. I think if it's a first-time coach, they might not want to deal with, like, the Aaron Rodgers experience. I'm not saying that in the negative way. It's just like, when Aaron's here, he's the center of the universe because he's Aaron Rodgers. So that's a part of all this. I'm seeing a tweet from Quincy Williams, who just tweeted the meme, "Bring me my money." Like the viral locker room gif. He's going to hold out if he doesn't get a new contract. That's what's going to happen there. So we already got that to look forward to because I'm telling you that's going to be a thing. I got a lot to catch up on after this because I went live right after I got done with the radio show, so I haven't been able to watch any of the postgame yet. Tyrone says, maybe Vrabel comes to us and leaves Kraft hanging. Maybe, or he probably doesn't, but I like the optimism. More of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. There's a guy on the line that I think we all are dying to hear from. He's got good takes, good perspective on everything. Ladies and gentlemen, sing along.
It's Chiefs fan.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's Chiefs fan.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's Chiefs fan.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for Chiefs fan.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill. Yeah, Gator. Thank God I needed that to wake up. I am going to offer. They gave me all the stuff. They bring it by around 8 o'clock. I'm just gonna be directing calls.
Wait, you got an offer from what? You didn't say.
Directing calls for a mental health hotline.
You're gonna
So just
direct calls for a mental health hotline?
for part time because I talked to human support and I said I would like to have that as a job.
Wow.
I'm not qualified to be a therapist because I would tell people shut the fuck up. Life's worth living for. Sorry for the language. Like if someone said they're suicidal, I'm like, don't go that far. You might win the lottery the next day. There's always something to look forward to.
Now, don't you have to be qualified to do this job? Like, what are your qualifications to?
No,
be on?
I'm just doing, like when you call for the hospital, you get connected and they hold and you just send them to the right where you needed to go to.
Do you think you have the skill set to be able to do this, Chiefs fan?
I do because I don't take shit from trolls. If I get trolls, I'm just going to tell them to go eat rat poison and get
Okay.
the hell off this planet. And if I do get trolls, I might lose my job because I might start cursing them out. Like, this is a hotline for my
All right, so this is a hypothetical situation here, right? I am not suicidal. I want to make that clear. But say I was and I called you, Chiefs fan. I want you to talk me off the ledge. Go ahead.
All right, so you got stuff to live for. Let's say you're a Jets fan. You went through 10 years.
I don't know, Chiefs fan. This season, I mean, it's been
No,
so bad.
I
I don't think I'm ever going to see them in the playoffs again. A winning season, Chiefs fan. It's been 10 years. All right, I can't do it anymore. Talk to me.
You got shit to live for. You got the Knicks to live for. They can win a
No, I
championship.
love the Jets. I love football.
All I gotta say is you got stuff to live for. You never know. People could be down and out and millionaires and win the lottery the next day. Everything's not worth throwing it away for.
I never win anything, Chiefs fan. I'm a Jet fan. I can't
Well,
do it
here's the
anymore.
thing.
I can't do another season, Chiefs fan.
Here's the
Help
thing.
me. Help me.
Here's the thing. You need to think about your family first. Because you need to think about
They're
your family
Jets
first.
fans too. My dad's in the chat. He's the reason why I deal with this.
Jake, you're doing good, but I'm like, there's always something to live for, man. There's always something.
No, the Jets, they ruined my life, Chiefs fan.
There's always something to live for. You're not a father yet. You could be a father. You could hold your daughter in your arms in a few fucking years. There's always something to live for, man.
I might be a father. I don't know. I messed around
There's
a lot.
always
Back in the
something,
day.
and that's what I would tell someone. There's always something to look for. Like even if you're gay, you're gonna get a relationship, bi, trans, whatever. Like what I would tell people if I asked them, are they straight? They said yes. Holding the child, you're gonna one day hold a child in your hand and look back on this moment and be like, "Damn, I listened to him."
Tell you what, Chiefs fan, I thought you passed the test there. Bravo.
Because like as a person who witnessed a lot of that shit growing up, who witnessed walking down alleys and a gunshot, who heard gunshots from depressed people, I don't want to see that. And like the reason why I say a father, you could be a father one day. Like once that fatherly instinct kicks in, you're definitely gonna kick someone's ass. No one's dating your daughter until you turn 50, basically. That's how fathers be.
Well, Chiefs fan, I'm happy that you got this new job. I
Yeah.
feel like they made a good decision bringing you on board.
Well, I'm just gonna be like the one that directs it because I'm like, I'm not like I'll just talk them out of it. But I'm the type of person that'll probably curse a bit too much. I'm like, it's not worth throwing. Sorry for language. It's not worth throwing your fucking life away. You never know. You might meet the love of your life your next day.
That's right.
You never know. You might meet your wife. You give birth to beautiful 6 children. Your son
6?
becomes.
That's a lot of sex, Chiefs fan. I don't know what you think this is.
You never know. They might be a Philip Rodgers, Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers. I mean, they might have a bunch of kids like Rivers, and they might bring a scientist, a NASA scientist, or whatever. Might bring the next quarterback in. Might bring the next linebacker in. That's what I keep on telling people. Life is worth living to the next day. And there's also another reason why I tell people live to the next day. You live to piss off your haters at times. If that's what drives you, live to piss off your haters.
Chiefs fan. Excellent
I just
call.
want to say one last thing before I go. I hope to be a 1 seed, y'all. And if you're going through something, like I said, live to piss off your haters. Because your haters want you gone. And if you live to piss off your haters, it's going to make you smile. And that's the one thing I need to say before I let you go. I really hope you guys sign Justin Fields. I really feel like you can get him on a cheap contract. And I made a joke with Sham how you and the Giants were going to fight over Justin Fields. I'm like, hand me one of those raid shotguns. You know, the ones that shoot BB guns? Not BB guns, but bean bags. I'll be in there with the back like, you guys are getting Justin Fields, not the Giants.
It's Chiefs fan.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's Chiefs fan.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's Chiefs fan.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for Chiefs fan.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
Chiefs fan, thank you very much. What a call. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some people still on the line right now that some would say have haters. Some would say have people that don't believe they have what it takes to be great on this show. And you know what? Oftentimes, I would agree. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Jacob. How are you, sir?
I'm good. You're in New York, right?
Indeed, I am. Indeed, I am.
Well, thanks for the notice. I mean, geez.
I told you I was going to be in New York. I put it in
then
your Discord.
You never reached out, never said, hey, you around? I would have loved to have seen you.
Oh, you want to meet up tomorrow?
What are you doing?
I got nothing. I'm going to the Nets game with Nate, but I don't have anything during the day.
All right. Well, we'll potentially plan something. All right.
All right. Yeah. So reach out to me on Discord or whatever.
That sounds good. How was New York treating you, Gary? You having a good time? You eating some pizza?
I did.
Yeah, not gas station pizza, real pizza.
I have real pizza, Jake. I don't eat gas station pizza in New York. They have real pizza in New York, which is the best in the world. Yeah, I said it. And I've had pizza in Italy many, many times. The pizza in New York, I put number one.
How about that? A take I agree with you on.
Gary, all American for lunch. How about wow. Yeah, I want to do that.
We need this. Jay Quest
Tuesday?
And Gary getting all American. We need that.
Tuesday, potentially. Does that work? Reach out to me, Jay Quest. Yeah, I would love to go. I haven't been to All American in years. And my best friend lives in Massapequa. I'm heading that way anyway. So that would I could actually do that. I thought Gary was carnivore. Yeah, whenever I'm in New York or New Orleans, I take a break from that. I'll go right back to it. I'm just a man. I have weaknesses.
Mother effing Shoe recommends Exxon Mobil pizza. Your thoughts?
I had New Park pizza yesterday. It was fantastic in Howard Beach. It was fantastic.
Excellent. Happy for you.
Yeah, it was really good. And then I'm going to Undici in Massapequa on Tuesday. I haven't had that yet, but I hear it's fantastic.
Look at you.
And I had Taglia's in Mineola. It was good. It was good, but it wasn't like they made it out to be like some of the best pizza in New York, and I didn't see it like that.
Lane is asking the very important question. Hi, Gary. Do you like Starbucks coffee?
I like coffee, period. Yeah, I like Starbucks, but like I think Dunkin' Donuts has better coffee than Starbucks. I'm okay with Starbucks. I think it's okay.
Okay.
I drink it a lot. I'm drinking it now, actually.
I see.
I did have. Oh, and first of all, whoever said Charles Gorman isn't a number one seed, that's just hate. Like we already know two of the number one seeds, Gorman and Chiefs fan. That's written in stone. The other two are up for grabs. But
you don't think Bobby's a lock to be a one? Interesting.
He's been making enemies. I mean, it depends what the criteria is. I would give him a one seed if it was up to me, and I think V-Man would be at a two seed. But you can't make an argument that V-Man's a one seed. Of course you can. Give me a good argument.
I think Gorman is a one seed for sure. I think after that, the three other number ones, I think there's a real debate. But I think I think he has separated himself to being a one seed.
I think during the offseason, like deep in the offseason, like after the draft, but before the preseason, I think a weekly spot, at least a half-hour spot with Gorman would be great for you, and it would be great for him. You need something to fill the time with. Half hour of Gorman. Gorman can plug his channel on your platform. It's a win-win for everybody.
I'll tell you what, I do like the idea of some more segments with Gorman in the future, so we'll work on that.
I think it works. I think it works for everyone. So I missed the beginning of the show. what's the sentiment today amongst Jet fans? Are we happy they won, or are we pissed that we fell 2 spots in the draft order? I'm happy we won.
I think it's a lot of indifference. I think the attention is more on the coaching search and is Vrabel now going to go to the Patriots instead of the Jets? I think that's really the focus tonight, as opposed to like they won a meaningless game against Snoop Huntley.
I was a little surprised. I saw it coming. I can't say I'm shocked, but I thought, like, if you put a gun to my head and said, do you think the Patriots are going to keep Mayo? I would say they're going to keep him for at least one more year. It's a real bad look. The guy that you replaced a legend with, you fired in 1 year. It's like, that's a bad look. Like, you don't you want to make this work? Like, let's. And then you're bringing in another head coach. Unless you know Vrabel's going to come here, I don't know. It's a bad look. And it's like not a good move to fire a coach after 1 year. It's
a bad look unless they get Mike Vrabel, and then you could sell it to the fan base like we admitted we made a mistake, and then we got the best available coach out there. So like
that's the only way you clean this up is to get Vrabel. Otherwise, you look like a joke of an organization.
Well, if they don't get Vrabel, they look pathetic. Like if you hire somebody else, then it's bad.
Agreed. And then Rodgers. Are we back on the Rodgers train? Does everyone want Rodgers back because he was good today, or
no,
are we
it's
still done with
split.
that?
I maintain that I think Rodgers, you could argue, does give them their best chance, but there's a lot that has to happen for me to want him back. Coach and GM got to be aligned. He's got to take a huge pay cut because I'm not dealing with dead cap ramifications years from now for a guy who's here for one more year. And then I also think his willingness to be willing to learn a modern offense. Like we're not running the, hey, Aaron, you get to do whatever the hell you want offensive scheme. No, you got to hire a real offensive coordinator, and they got to run that offense. Like that's my thought on him.
And someone in the chat, I just missed it, put in that L&B Spumoni Gardens is the best. It's up there. I think it's right there with Da Vinci's, which is just a couple blocks away. Those are the 2 best places for a Sicilian by far. Da Vinci's, also in Bensonhurst, and L&B's, of course, is the legendary spot. But I think Da Vinci's is right there with it. It's like those are 1 and 2. I think if Rodgers is willing to take a real pay cut and is really willing to renegotiate, it's not the best option, but I wouldn't hate it. I don't know who else you're going to bring in. Fields? Okay. But like Fields kind of knows.
Tyrod. I mean, you have Tyrod under contract, so I'd imagine he's going to be a part of it.
Tyrod will be a part of it, but he's going to get, like, if you start him on week 1, he's going to be hurt by Columbus Day. Like, you know that. So, look, if they start Tyrod week 1, I'm fine with that. But you better have a backup because you know he's getting hurt.
100%.
And if they do draft Dart, I know what's going to happen. I like Dart, and I think he has upside. But it's going to be a process. And he's going to look bad week 1 and week 2, and everyone's going to throw up their hands and say he sucks and say he's no good, and they're going to chase him out of town. So, honestly, I'd rather not do that unless you promise me you're not going to play him at all this year. But he's going to struggle. Like, he's a college quarterback who has to adjust to the NFL. He's got a college skill set. I like him. But I already know this fan base has no patience. He's going to suck his first 2 games, and everyone's going to write him off. And then he's going to be gone. That's the thing that scares me about drafting a project quarterback like Jackson Dart. There's going to be no patience for him.
Yeah, I mean, you can't play any rookie right away, Gary. You can't. The guy's got to sit and learn until they're ready to play.
Yeah, we can't keep doing this with quarterbacks. Gary loves to be loved, one of his biggest drawbacks. When do I love to be loved? Do you think I come on here, Alan, to say things to be loved?
I thought Alan was tired. I thought you're done, Alan. Why aren't you watching the Lions, your real team?
Now my boy's just going to troll the chat and say things like, I love to be loved.
Nah, we'll throw him in the hole. It's fine. First person to get 5 memberships, you could be the reason why Alan's commenting night is over. I'm fine with that. Any other thoughts, Gary? Oscar wants to know when we could see Morgan again, your nanny.
Well, I'm in New York right now, and she's in Texas. I think we have her for a couple more weeks when I get back until she starts school again. So, I mean, probably next week.
All right,
and I think I have her for 2 more weeks, and then she's back to OU with the rest of the losers.
Strong.
Yeah. I don't really like OU. I'm not really. What do you think of the Oklahoma Sooners?
I don't really have a strong opinion one way or another.
Yeah. If I don't know. If Oklahoma Sooners played the Yankees, I might just root for the Yankees. Like, that's how much I dislike Oklahoma.
Mother effing Chew has gifted a channel membership. Chew, thank you.
Loser program. But that's really all I have.
Mother effing chew.
Anything else?
I wanted to address one thing, non-Jet related. Chiefs fan. Nate put an over/under at 2.5 weeks on his new job. I'm taking the over, and I'm taking the way over. I believe in my boy Chiefs fan. He's going to be at this job for at least 6 months. So
How do you think he'll do at the job? Well,
I don't think he's offering the counseling. I think he is transferring your call to the appropriate mental health professional.
he made it sound like he was offering counseling, though.
Some of it wasn't bad. Some of it needed to be touched up a little bit. But like the ultimate sentiment, shut up, life's not that bad. Pick up the pieces and move on. I think it's good messaging, but he might need to iron it out a little bit. But it wasn't bad. I mean, he's used a little work. I don't think he's ready for prime time just yet, but he's getting there. He'll be there. I believe in my boy.
Okay.
What do you think? How would you rate? How would you critique his call?
I thought he had a great call. I think he will do a great job.
I think so too. Lane, I do eat butter.
We know you eat plenty of butter.
Well, Lane. And Lane's obviously the 1 seed if he calls back in. I mean, he's the other third obvious 1 seed. But Lane, where you been, my man? Did he call in tonight?
And finally, Gary, have a good night.
I'm going to the mayonnaise.
Thank you, Gary. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Ladies and gentlemen, perhaps our final call tonight. The great Dom C is on the line. Hello, Dom.
Yo, Jake, what's happening, dude?
Hanging in, man. One last post-game show to wrap up the worst season of Jets football of my lifetime.
God awful. I couldn't agree anymore with that sentiment that it was just the worst season I think I remember experiencing, at least, and I've seen a bunch of bad ones. So for that matter, if I can undoubtedly say that this was the worst, it was pretty bad.
Horrible. Remember all the optimism we had when you and I were in London hanging out?
Oh man, unbelievable! Just to see where we went from there to here. That what is it? 12-week span between week 5 and week 17. I mean, it's just. I mean, shitstorm is taking it as easy as being nice. So yeah, man. I saw. Listen, 2 hard calls to follow right there. I gotta. Gary and the Chiefs fan is tough acts to follow, but I was just here, just editing a video on my own, so I had you on the opposite screen. I figured I'd stop in and say hello. Wish you a very happy postseason, even though we won't be watching our team with intent. But
no, but your season's about to start. For those who don't know, Dom is like as plugged into the draft as anyone. He'll be a frequent part of our channel during draft season. So I'm just going to throw it out to you, Dom. All right. The Jets, I feel like we're going to pick either 7 or 8, I guess, pending this game going on right now. What do Jet fans need to know about this draft and where the Jets specifically are picking coming up here in this first round?
What they need to know about this draft class wise, I think, I'm not saying anything, outlandish or crazy. You've probably heard it enough. It's not a very strong quarterback draft class. There's 2 big names. Both of them I think are, good. I don't think either of them are outstanding. I think they would have been, quarterback 5 and quarterback 6, maybe if you took last year's class combined with this year. There's a clear 4 guys that I liked that I graded out a lot higher than both Shador, who's my QB1, and Cam Ward, who's my QB2. The name to watch is Jalen Milroe. I know people watched the last couple games and weren't very happy, but NFL teams are going to like him a lot more. There's a chance he runs sub 4.4 at the combine. There's a chance, now that he's going to the Senior Bowl, there's a chance that he shows off that elite talent, and NFL teams draft for traits more so than and traits and upside more so than they do for, stat watchers like us average fans. So
Like first round pick, we're talking about top 10 pick with Miller.
listen, I think there's a really, really fair chance that he'll go in the first round. If he has a crazy draft season from now to April, you could see him going higher than we all think he really should. So that's a name to watch out. I think it's a deep class at the edge position. I think it's a really deep class at the running back and tight end position as well. Tight end is going to be a position of need for the Jets. Sorry, Bowers boys. So where do we look? I think that you have to obviously see how everything pans out with this offseason. If Aaron Rodgers is gone, which I think that, this was his swan song.
Do you think he retires or he plays elsewhere?
I think he retires. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he plays elsewhere, but I don't think he plays for the Jets. And I think if he's gone, Tay Adams is gone. So I think the Jets should familiarize themselves with some of the wide receivers that are going to be in play at 7. There's 2 or 3 of them that I think are going to be good players. And, Tedoroa McMillan is 6'5", 220 pounds, big catch radius.
That's a nice compliment to Garrett.
Very nice compliment to Garrett. Luther Burden, the third out of Missouri, who has just had shitty quarterback play this year, but I mean, he is
he'll fit right in.
Yeah, he is as electric and exciting, a true playmaker with the ball in his hands. Very similar skill set to Garrett Wilson, so I don't know if that pairing is the best. And then you got Emeka Buka, who played with Garrett at Ohio State, who Garrett frequently said him and JSN were the 2 best receivers he'd ever play with. Although I think he's more of a solid complement, a good wide receiver 2. He's a slot guy, but probably the most precise route runner in the class. So that's the way I'm leaning right now. If I'm choosing for the Jets, is I'm kind of honing in on the wide receivers, because not that these guys are blue chip. There were better wide receivers in last year's class, but I think the fall off is pretty steep. And comparatively with the other guys that are on the board, I don't think you're going to be in play for the top 2 quarterbacks. I don't think you're going to be in play for Abdul Carter, who's the best, arguably the best defensive player in the class. And then there's interior defensive linemen like Mason Graham that I don't see necessarily a fit on the Jets next to Quinnen Williams. I think he's very similar to Quinnen Williams. So, you can't go into next season with Garrett Wilson and, Xavier Gibson and Malachi Corley. We don't know who Malachi Corley is, right? So you can't go into that with that kind of weapon, no matter who your quarterback is. You need to get him some weapons. So that's who I'm targeting at that 7-8 spot.
It's going to be fascinating because it just so much changes, of course. But let's say like Drew Aller, for example, decides he's coming out. Is he a top 15 pick? Is he?
Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in the NFL circles that think if he chooses to come out, that he could be quarterback 1, that he will be quarterback 1 on their board. Whether or not he goes off, at least I've heard that Tennessee is smitten with Cam Ward, and more than likely he will be the pick. But Drew Aller's going to be up there, and people. If Drew Aller comes out, again, I don't know if I'm handing him the keys and turning it over to him right away. There's still some development in his game. Mechanically, it's not there. The feet don't match the upper body a lot of times, but when it does come into play and when it does line up and he has those reps, I mean, he shows the talent that he has. He's got the frame, he's got the arm, he's got the arm talent, he's got the arm strength to play in the Northeast, to play in the cold. He's not a guy I'd want to, hand the keys over. So for me, you still need a bridge quarterback, whether that's Tyrod or whether that's somebody else, before you kind of ease into Drew Aller. But yeah, if Drew Aller comes out, he's a guy that is interesting, not only for the Jets, because I don't even know if he'd make it to 7, to be honest with you, but maybe he would. But I think that's a guy that teams will trade up for. So it might open up some other spots if teams are trading up to get quarterback. So
yeah, that to me is like interesting to follow here, because the Jets aren't high enough to get one of these quarterbacks. So the more quarterbacks that can go early could maybe allow a better player to fall to them. Yeah. I mean, is there a big difference in your mind between the Jets picking 6 or 7? Because it clearly this win by the Lions here It's going to put the Jets at 7. They would have been 6 if they lost. So it's not like they really lost any ground today with being the Dolphins.
No, I think it's I maybe you're right, but I thought it was the opposite. I thought it was 7 if they won, 7 if the Lions won, 8 if the Minnesota won. I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, either way, it doesn't feel like the Lions are going to win, so they'll be at 7.
Yeah, they'll be at 7. No, I think there's a couple of, like I said, the quarterbacks. Although I don't know if they're really top 10 quarterbacks, but quarterbacks always get bumped up high. We know that. Outside of that, there's a couple guys that I think are really good at positions that I don't know if I want to spend a top 7 pick on. Do we need it? We just spent a number 4 pick overall on Sauce Gardner. Do you want to take another cornerback? There's a couple that I think are good. I think Will Johnson from Michigan's a great player. Coming off a Liz Frank injury, missed a lot of the season this year, but last year was arguably the best defensive back in football. So there's him. There's Travis Hunter, who I think can be, an elite all-pro level cornerback at the next level. Plus he's got that double dip, dual, offense and defensive thing going on. But again, I don't know if there's a necessity to take another DB in the top 10 when there's so many other glaring holes on the team. Like, to me, you got Sauce, you got Michael Carter under contract. Maybe you pay Brandon Eccles and he's your quarterback too, which I think he could be a very good, serviceable cornerback too. I don't know if you need an all-pro with all the holes that we have on defense, Jake, we're filling 6 starting spots on the defensive side of the ball. You're not going to get an all-pro at every spot. So I think the best allocation of assets probably wouldn't be to one of those two guys. Although, the board might say different. Their board might say different. I don't know if I'd take a Mason Graham. I don't know if I would take a Will Johnson, although I have them within the top 5. Like I said, I'm looking at where need and the level of depth in the class per position kind of matches up. And for me, it's that, it's the wide receiver position. Maybe a tight end. Again, sorry, Bowers boys, but there's 2 really good tight ends. Maybe there is somebody that
can we trade down and get a tight end. I hate doing it in the top 10.
Yeah. Listen, I think ideally that would be the play. I think ideally that would be the play. The question is this class is not top heavy. So there's not going to be many people that are trading up to get it. Again, if Aular's there, that's, if the Jets chose not to take him, that could be an opportunity that somebody might want to trade up for him. Outside of that, I don't know who they're trading up for, unless a team absolutely falls in love with a guy like, Will Johnson or Mason Graham, that they're willing to move up and the Jets move down. So, Tyler Warren, Colson Loveland, Harold Fannin Jr., those guys are going to be, really good tight ends in the league.
Dom, who do you want the next head coach of the Jets to be?
I'll say not Rex. I'll say not Rex Ryan. I want an offensive guy. I don't know, man.
How come no Rex? You don't like his sexiness?
Nah, you know what?
Oh, yeah. You know what time it is. You tried to throw him away, but this man's coming back. Sometimes he's fat or thin. That waistband makes him slim. He's got the fix you need. They call him sexy Rexy.
Fuck Gruden, he's no Jet. I'm here to crack some skulls. I'll turn these boys to men. This team is stacked with pros. Hire me, you won't break your purse. I'm here to break the curse. They call me sexy Rexy. Fuck all you naysayers.
Ooh, sexy. Ooh, he's sexy Rexy. Sexy. Ooh, he's sexy Rexy. Sexy. Ooh, he's sexy Rexy.
If you put a beard on that, it's Nick Shine. Actually,
I like the comp.
Yeah, it's a fair comp. Yeah. Listen, I want an offensive guy. If I had my dream pick, obviously, I think I'd probably roll the dice with the creative mind of Ben Johnson, but I don't think there's a fair chance that he interviews here, or comes
Cohen?
here, or at least. Listen, I'm fine with Liam Cohen.
Joe Brady.
I think I
go through the offensive guys.
Yeah, Joe Brady. I think I can get behind Cliff Kingsbury. I would.
Chance.
Yeah, I would rather take a guy like a Cliff Kingsbury, who's, even though he's not at the top of my list, give me an offensive mind that can hopefully when you get a quarterback, whether it's in this draft or next draft, or a young guy that can actually do something to develop and have a team that can not run this, archaic style of, like race to 20 style offense. Like, I don't want to, I don't know if I can go through another 3, 4, 5 years with, a game manager. I need some sort of, some sort of spice, some sort of life on the offensive side of the ball. So give me an offensive guy. I would have been fine with Vrabel. I wasn't really, like gung ho. Like, we have to get Mike Vrabel. So I'd
Flores.
Same thing. I'd rather have Flores than Vrabel.
You rather have Flores than Vrabel?
I'd rather have Flores than
Interesting.
Flores is higher on my board. Yeah,
Okay.
you know what? I just watched what he did with this Minnesota defense. There's just, I think, a lot of creativity, a lot of disruptiveness that, I like that style of defense, and hopefully he would bring that to our team. He's also, again, when he was in Minnesota, when he was in Miami, the one thing that stood out, he had his troubles. It was a first-time head coach. He probably did a lot of things wrong that he would change. But the one thing two things that really stuck out in his time in Miami, his teams never quit on him, right? He was 2-9 at one point, or 2-8 at one point, and ended up going 9-8 on the season, winning it out. And he was least penalized. They were the least penalized team in the NFL. Like, that kind of change is something that I think is absolutely necessary. I can't take like another 10, 11 penalties for 120 yards and Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich saying, we're going to get it right. We're going to get it right. No, let's get it right. And those two things stick out to me. So I like Flores more so than I like Vrabel.
Yeah, I mean, geez. I get it. Vrabel to me would be perfect for what they needed. But I like Flores too. I mean, Flores, how would you feel about like Josh McCown as the OC if he brings him over with him from Minnesota?
I guess, I don't know. I'd be lying to you, Jake. I haven't really looked into, Josh McCown as the player, but what he can offer as an offense. Anyone that's been coaching under KOC is going to probably, get an extra, check.
He's the quarterback
mark.
coach now. We know he's helpful for Sam.
Yeah.
By the way, I'll ask you this before we wrap with you, Dom.
Go ahead.
JJ McCarthy, if he were available this year, would he be the number one quarterback in the class, in your opinion?
Quarterback one.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you're the Jets, would you be on board with potentially, let's say you hire Brian Flores, Josh McCown's the OC, call the Vikings and find out what it would take to get McCarthy? Would you trade your first round pick to do it?
I don't know if you'd have to trade number 7 overall, but I'd offer 7 in a deal. Maybe it's something along. And listen, I'm gonna preface by saying there's no way that Minnesota's trading him. So I think you make the call. I think all 31 teams, actually 29 teams outside of Buffalo and Kansas City make the call to see if he's available. But I don't see any way, shape, or form that Minnesota is going to trade him. But yes, would I give up I'd put 7 in the deal. Maybe you do like that pick swap kind of thing where you drop down to the end of the first round and get get their number 29 or number 30 pick, whatever it's going to be, and give up 7 or something like that. I'd be open to it. Yeah, I think he's, based in this quarterback class, to me, he'd head and shoulders be quarterback number 1.
It's gonna be interesting. I mean, I don't think they would trade him either, but I mean,
yeah, I don't know if number 7 overall it will be necessary to get him. And again, this is all
maybe it's a pick swap, and then it's like a conditional second next year that can become a 1 if he starts X amount of games because he's coming off the knee injury too. So
yeah, that's the thing. It's the knee injury that comes into play as well. So he's got to pass. He's got to pass the litmus test. He's got to check off all the boxes with the doctors, and realistically, I think you probably get him for a second. Because just like a car, man, you can have a $50,000 car, you drive it off the lot. Guess what? Once it's off the lot, whether it has any real mileage or anything, it's now worth $30,000. So the cost of what you spent yesterday isn't the cost of what it's going to be today.
Yesterday's price ain't today's price.
That's right. So,
Tom, hopefully it's a good off season because this season was brutal. So now it's your season. It's draft season for Dom C.
it's going to be a great offseason because anytime you can dive into 4 straight months for the mere mortals, it's 4 months. For me, it's been since June. I've been going strong. So yeah, it's draft season, baby.
I wonder who this year's Bowers is going to be as far as the prospect that was heavily debated. Is it going to be Milroe? I mean, Joe the Jet already wrote Jalen Milroe will set the franchise back years.
Yeah.
And this year's Bowers.
Let me preface, I wasn't suggesting that the Jets take Jalen Milroe. I was just suggesting that as a prospect, I think he's going to be one that the NFL teams are much, much higher on than us fan. I think the prospect that you think you're going to hear everyone kind of banter about is Mason Graham. I think that's the guy. That's this year's. You either love him or you hate him.
Mason Graham. All right. I'm ready to debate. So we have the Bauer boys and we have the Graham. I don't know. The chat. The chat will help us out with that one.
The Graham guys. The Graham guys. The Graham guys.
Yeah. Here we go. Dom, you're the best. Appreciate you, man.
You got it, Jake. Nice talking to you, bud.
Dom C, check it in. Make sure you guys follow him. You see him on the Talking Jets YouTube channel. Project Prospect with Dom C is his personal YouTube channel if you're a draft nut. Dom's got a draft guide coming out that he was nice enough to send me, so I've been starting to study up and put the work in, and we'll have more info on that when we get to the offseason here. Doug with a super chat. Banks or Campbell, and the line is shirt up for years. I don't know if they're going to take an offensive lineman that high. At some point, you can't have an entire O-line of just first-round picks. Like, find a guy on day 2 and develop him. Like, look at the starting line of the Packers. How many first-round picks do they have? Or the Eagles? Look, I'm not going to kill a new GM if he's our best player and we take him, but yeah, I think receiver could be a sneaky pick in the top 10. They need a receiver badly, folks. You have Garrett Wilson, then what? Especially if Aaron's not here and Devontae's gone. Yeah, the Jets are definitely going to pick 7, though, because I don't know if anyone's still watching, but the Lions are up 31-9 over the Vikings. Lane, can the Jets get Ben Johnson as coach? Probably not. I don't know if he would take a job without a real quarterback in place. All right. It's been a 3-hour show, everyone. The last post game of the year. Thank you to everyone for making this show the show. Reminder, it's available in audio form, wherever you get your podcast, Apple or Spotify. So just search Jake Asman Show and you'll find the Jake Asman Show in audio form. And you can like and subscribe there and take the show on the run. Before we go, I want to bring attention to something very important to the Asmaniac community. So one of our dear listeners, his name is William Sprague. His wife, unfortunately, within the last week or so, passed away. She had been very sick. A bunch of Asmaniacs have donated to the GoFundMe. She had a very rare disease that she fought valiantly, but was unable to, of course, survive. So I want to send my thoughts and well wishes to William Sprague and his family. But there is a GoFundMe that's been set up to help pay for some of the funeral expenses for William's wife, Judy Sprague. So I have the link in the description. And if anyone has the means to do so, please contribute and support a fellow Asmaniac and his family who are going through a tough time right now. So I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about that to end the show. Putting the link in the live chat for everyone out there, and it's in the description box for those not watching live, so you can take a look at that. So, William, we're thinking about you and your family, man, and I'm looking forward to your return to the show. But rest in peace to Judy Sprague, and I have the GoFundMe info once again in the description box. And I put it in the live chat as well for any Asmaniac out there who has the means to help out William and his family. On that note, I want to thank everyone for 20 postgame shows this year. Not a lot of wins, a lot of nightmares, but thank you to everyone for making the show the show. We're going to be back every day this week, twice a day, Monday through Friday, as we always are. No channel talks more Jets than this one, and I'm grateful to be able to do it, because that means we have the support from the community. So thank you to everyone again who tuned in all season long. Hopefully these post-game shows next year aren't nightmares and they're actually enjoyable to do. Man. Join the Patreon if you haven't already. We'll give people 24 hours to join if they want their name added to the countdown for the month of January. Thank you to everyone. Couldn't do it without you. All the calls, all the memberships gifted tonight, super chats all season long. You guys are the reason I could do this. And for that, I'm grateful. Again, we're back tomorrow. Joe Beningo in his weekly spot on the show at 10 a.m. will be our guest. So I'm looking forward to getting Joe's thoughts on a win and where the Jets go from here. My name is Jake Asman. This has been the Jake Asman Show. And I'm going to end the show with a video that hopefully will inspire every Jet fan out there, that will remind you that there was a point in time when this Jet football team was actually really good. Have a good night, everybody. Go Jets.
To all the non-believers. To all the non-believers. Anybody can be beat. We're pissed off. People gave us no chance, like we barely made it in playoffs. We're a good football team. For all you non-believers, disrespect us, talk crap about the defense like we ain't the third best defense in the league. All we hear is about their defense. They can't stop a nosebleed. 25th in the league, and we the one to get disrespected. Congratulations. See you in Pittsburgh. Can't wait.
I hate this team. I hate them. I hate them.